Hi again to some of you guys who were there this morning, and hi anew to those of you who I haven't seen for a week. Hi. Let's let everyone in. So everyone go to the chat and sign into the chat and make sure that you start opening your VDI if you're on VDI, and your Bridge and your Photoshop while everyone is catching up. Jennifer, hi Pilar.
Hi, Diana.
Hi Greg Otero, which I know is not. Technically, if you change the name to your Zoom earlier, technically I shouldn't be letting you guys in because you could be anyone if you have a name that's not on my list. But you know, that has never happened to me. So I still err on the side of letting people in, but that's how there was all these problems with Zoom bombing and people coming in and doing all this gross stuff because you let people in that don't belong to your class. So if you can change it ahead of time for other situations where they might not let you in. I thought I'd share that. All right, how's it going? Oh, sorry, what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, what I realized what was happening is I didn't have my own account set up in my own name. So I log in under this other person's name to host this thing, but then when I log into other things, it would still, that name would follow me.
It stayed,
So
yeah.
I do have my own account, but it means I have to sign in before I go in, and because I just did that this morning.
You can actually sign in when you're already signed in on the top right of that main screen that pops up before you're in a meeting. You can actually click and change account and switch account.
Yes, thank you.
Just for future knowledge. It's not important.
I will try to be more organized.
I get to the point that people, when do that consistently, I get to know who their alter ego account is. As long as they change it once they're inside, that's fine.
Right.
But at first it's always like, I don't see this person in my roster. I wonder who it is. And I always figure out it's someone who needs to change their account name. It's not a big deal. I've never had anyone Zoom bombing me, so I'm not too worried. If it ever happens, I shall act differently. Anyway, hi everyone.
Hi, Diana.
So many of you guys are the marathon runners, huh? By that I mean in the morning I teach Photoshop, and in the afternoon digital design techniques, and then you just basically, we had 45 minutes break. As of 2 weeks from now, when I start the Illustrator in the morning, there's just going to be like 20-minute break or 15-minute break or something like that. They made a mistake when they scheduled it, and they put the digital design techniques too early to give us a real break. But by then it was a bit too late. So all we could do is move it 15 minutes. But hey, we're all strong and brave, and we'll push through it. And just so you know, a couple of the people who are doing the double duty aren't here yet. You're welcome to stand up, go and come, and do what you need to do, take care of yourself, bring food. I actually can't do that. I brought my food because I was actually talking to my son and I didn't get a chance to eat my food, but I can't talk and eat at the same time, as opposed to you guys are welcome to eat while you're listening. I'm gonna have to wait until break. So anyway, but I got a few bites, so I'm fine. It's not like I'm starving or anything. I have a long way to go before I start. Okay, so I wanted you to know, while we're waiting for a few more people, a couple people told me it'll be a little bit late today, that we have, let me put some info about what the classes that I'm talking about. I think I told you last week, but in case you don't know, next week is still regular class, but after that we have 1 week of spring break, and then we start again with digital design techniques. Kind of overlaps the spring break, so we'll just have one Friday that we don't have class, and that'll be Friday, March 26th, so 2 weeks from now. But other than that, there's 2 other classes starting: an Illustrator class That's going to be Friday mornings from 9 to 12:45. I put the CRN there in case you're interested in signing up for that. And then I'm also teaching a new Photoshop class. And I'm putting that information there. And that's starting, yes, no class, March 26th, that whole week of March 22nd to Monday 22nd to Friday 26th. That's spring break for our school and for, well, for anyone, credit, no credit, for everyone. The whole school closes, so there's no services, nothing. It's completely, school is completely closed for a whole week. So our Friday class is missing, but if you have classes any other day of that week, just know that there's no class. And then the week after, I start a new Illustrator class in the mornings on Fridays and a new Photoshop class Tuesday afternoons. Okay, this is the wrong schedule. I did it again. That's the wrong schedule for the Photoshop. I'm sorry. The right, I need to change it. And I did it this morning too. I pasted the wrong things. Ugh, how frustrating. It's the, where is it? Let me get the right schedule. I think I said it. I have it on this weird little file that I need to get to. Here it is. Photoshop is actually 12 to 3:40. So let me correct that. It's 12 p.m. to 3:40 p.m. Okay, on Tuesdays.
And that's starting on the 30th of March.
March 30th, right? As soon as spring break is over, it begins. So yes. Right. So I'm gonna, yeah, fix that here. I need to fix that here because I've been saying that a bunch and then I'm gonna end up making a mistake. So give me a second while I fix that on my other document, because every time I present this, I'm saying it wrong. There we go. All right, so that gives us a chance to, a lot of the work that we're doing in this class is going to be rather limited in the techniques for each one of the programs, Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign, in the sense that I can't teach you as if you knew a lot about each program, because some of you do have taken some of those and some of you have not taken any, and this is your first class. And it can be taken in any order. Based on that, we don't have a way to take it. You could even take it without having taken Illustrator or have taken it at the end. So I have to teach it at a level where I assume you don't know much or anything about any of the programs. So that's why I'm teaching you how the whole process of getting something completed works and how the programs interact and stuff. But you won't get like high level skills in any of the programs. For that, you need to take the actual Illustrator, the actual Photoshop class. Okay. Right. I'm having a problem where one of my classes is, one of my programs is crashing on me. So I'm talking to you guys and on the side, I'm dealing with a crash. Photoshop behaved really well this morning in class, meaning it didn't lag. Remember last week, everything was lagging tremendously. Nothing lagged today during my morning Photoshop class. So hopefully we won't have any lagging happening this afternoon. That's my hope. And that we can do this very cleanly. I've got a ton of things opening, so I'm closing some of the stuff to help the lag. If you have a lot of programs opening, guys, please close a lot of stuff in the background. But I have like all my Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, and Design, I have all that stuff open. Plus I'm trying to run VDI. So if you have any of that going on, web pages that you don't need, stuff like that, please close everything you need. Because with this class, Digital Design Techniques in particular, I'm going to try us to have us open as much as we can, 2 at a time, if not 3 programs. If you include Bridge, it's even more. So while my computer is doing its little little, I'm on a Mac, so when things start freezing, it does this little spin the wheel. And so my program is spinning its wheel while I'm trying to close some. Hopefully you guys have everything opened up and ready to go. And Bridge. And let's start by opening Photoshop and InDesign. Okay, so go ahead and have Photoshop and InDesign opened up and in your VDI or at your home. Let's have Bridge, Photoshop, and InDesign. So if you've opened Bridge already, start always with Bridge, just because that's the one that is the source of all our images. And then you can open Photoshop and InDesign. I find that in real life, I can open all three at a time and then just wait it out while I do something else and they all open up. But in VDI, I've discovered that it's probably better to open one at a time, wait for it to open up and open the next one, and then wait for it to open up and open the next one. So that's just a suggestion. Trying to minimize. Can't seem to be able to quit Safari for some weird reason, but I'm going to quit my Illustrator. There we go. And don't save. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that we're going to be working on as we go along. There's some complete projects that I want us to do, but we can't work on those complete projects until we know more individual bits of each of the programs, right? Because the whole point of a complete project is that you're going to be doing a little bit in the layout in InDesign, a little bit in Photoshop to make the photo better, a little bit in Illustrator, maybe to make a logo or some decorations or some things for the project, and bringing it all together. That's not to say that there aren't other programs that we might sometimes put in when we're doing this business, but those are the ones that we're going to be covering here, mainly in this class. So, okay. Let me share my screen. Any questions before I go into sharing my screen mode where you stop seeing me? About anything we tried or did last week, or you tried during the week? I want to remind everyone, I'm not sure if I've said it. I've been repeating this in every class, but I think I didn't repeat it enough yet in this class. Because the first class we were just kind of accessing the programs and stuff, and it wasn't necessary. And yet last week we began to work in InDesign. So can you please remember at the end of class, even if I don't remind you, there's always a homework. Of course, the homework is practice everything I've taught you with some other files during the week. That's always done, but you don't need to turn that in. What you do need to turn in to me, or what you do need to email me and send me, are screenshots of the work that you're doing in class. Let me be clear. This class is a graded class. It's a class that's part of a certificate. So in order to pass, in real life, it's so easy. I just walk around and I see what you're doing in your computers, and I know you're engaging, you're asking questions, you're making corrections. But in the only limitation to this online is that I can't see your computers. So unless you're sharing because you have a question, I get to see your work, then you could be part of the class and not doing anything, just staring at my screen and not really doing the work. So although there is such a thing as watching to learn, the real way to learn is doing, right? So what I need you to do is to be doing these things parallel to me, unless you're having an issue with your computers or stuff like that, and then you can do them later with the video. But then you need to do a screenshot of your work and send it to me. So it doesn't need to be anything special, just me knowing that you're following. And it's okay if it's wrong. It's okay if it's nothing different than what we're doing. But if you did something different and special or on your own, please send me that too, so I know how you're progressing. But all I need is to have an idea that you're following along with the class, okay? So that I can give you a pass and mean it at the end of the session, because I'll have an idea of the work you've been doing. All right. So if anyone needs to know how to take a screenshot, I think I didn't do it with this class, but I can stay behind at the end of the class and I'll show you how to take a screenshot, or worst case scenario, just pick up your phone and just photograph the screen and just send me from your phone a photo of what you did. It doesn't need to be high quality. I just need to see you working. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone's committed to sending me screenshots or even photos of your screen to show me that you're moving along with the class. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen. I'm actually still in the Photoshop
Hey, Deanna,
course. Yes.
can I ask you a quick question?
Mhm.
I'm sorry if I missed when you said, how often or when are you wanting us to send those to you?
Well, after class, so you can, if you've been following, the class, then whatever you got to during class. If perchance you haven't been following the class and you've been like, some people sometimes having issues and they just need to watch the video and do it later, then whenever you do them, but within the week before the next class, show me your work. Okay, so between the end of today and before next Friday, just send me some screenshots, because some people don't complete or work further on it. Some people send me much more than what we've done in class, working with what we did in class and stuff like that. So wherever you're at, send that to me. Okay,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome. And thanks for asking. That clarifies it for everyone. So here we have my folder in Bridge, which I hope you all know how to get to already. If you don't remember how to get here, we went in Bridge to this PC. And for those at home, you might have your things on your desktop or your documents or your pick. I don't know where you put them. You need to find them in your downloads folder. But for people who are on VDI, after this PC, you need to double click on Google Drive, double click on shared drives, double click on Digital Design Techniques, and then class files, Digital Design Techniques. Now, I have a folder here that people don't have yet who are at home. That's okay. I'm not going to make you download it yet today. I'm going to put some more things in there, but you all have these folders and a few files down here that I did put here in the new download. So for now, I'm going to be showing you a few more things, and we're going to be working with a few more things. I have something trying to call into my attention. Give me a second, because I'm having an issue in the background. Okay. 1 second. I'm trying to save some stuff, and since it's not saving, it's giving me this little alert on the Mac. A thing is jumping up and down, and it's not letting me deal with closing a program, and that's stopping my computer from working well. Okay, there we go. All right. So last week we created a very basic file in InDesign, remember? Where we placed an image, and it's an image that we had opened up. So if you go to your InDesign program, where you should be is that there's some history now, and the history of it is one file. So what you should see when you go to InDesign, when it opens, you can create a new, you can open something, or you can see it from the recent. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is that which we used last time. So is anyone here who was not here last week, who does not have this file?
I don't, Lisa W.
Okay, so it's not hard to reproduce, because all we did was we placed something, then we learned something about placing and stuff like that, but it'll be easy to reproduce. So everyone else, before we open it, notice that the file name is flower.indd. INDD is the extension for InDesign document. Okay, so that's the extension for an InDesign file. For Adobe Illustrator, it's .ai. So just 2 letters for Illustrator, 4 for InDesign, and PSD for Photoshop. Okay, so those are the 3 main files that we'll be using, although sometimes we convert into some other things. All right, so to open this one, if you hover over here, it'll tell you where it is. So if you hover over the photograph, it won't, but you hover over the name of it and just wait for a little bit. Don't click. It tells me that this is in my drive, DigitalDesignTechniques classwork. So this should be, for those of us in VDI, it should be in the place where we save our files in my drive for VDI people. People who are home, it'll tell you wherever it is in your computer. Just showing you these things because this is just so useful for stuff that you're already working. You don't have to go find it again from wherever it is. I'll tell you in a minute, Lisa, for anyone who doesn't have it or doesn't find it, how to recreate this. But for everyone else, let's just click on that and it's just going to open up. So for Lisa and for anyone else who does not find it or does not have it, what we did here is we created a document that was, I believe, 5 by 7. Let me just remember the document setup. Yeah, it's a 5.5 by 7. That's all we did. And it had margins. So Lisa and anyone else who did not find this document, go to say create new. Okay. So say create new. And then you'll be in this page. And then this is just for people who don't have the other one. Then go to print up at top. And then over here, we're going to set the units in inches. So everyone else can watch to remember how we did it, but you don't need to create a new one. And then here we change the size to 5.5 by 7. So you can just delete everything and you just write 5 by 5. You don't need here to actually write inches or anything. Just 5 by 5 does it because we already set it to inches. And then you can tab or click on this next one and do 7. So you're welcome to just hit tab. Everything else we left the same. We didn't change. We're going to learn more about all this other stuff, but we didn't change anything. So after that, we said create. Okay. And then once you said create, then you had a document basically just like this. This is what you should be seeing. Okay. Now, to get this flower here, we did some other stuff with it. Everyone has this flower, but we did some things. We changed the frame. We did some mess. And at this point, this frame is probably looking different from everyone. So I want us to all select this. Make sure that you're in your selection tool, which is the top one. Select this flower by clicking on it somewhere and then hit your delete or backspace key, get rid of it. So now we're all basically starting all over as far as what we're going to place, because I want to work a bit more on that placing that we did at the last minute. Okay, so everyone should be in this mode. Is anyone not in this mode, or do you need help getting here? Time for questions.
Diana, can I share my screen?
Yes, hold on. I need to stop my share. Yes, Mayuri, and then I saw your hand, Justine. Yes.
Okay. Guess this is mine.
Okay.
Screen?
I'm seeing your screen. Yeah. Please wait while we try to repair. Are you on? Oh, you are on VDI. Okay. So it seems to me that did you sign in today to your Google Drive file stream, or?
Yes.
You made a new sign in?
Yes.
Like you disconnected last week or last time and you reconnected?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm noticing that you're inside. You have a lot of different, you're in VDI, but you have a whole bunch of tabs open inside of VDI.
Yeah.
You have all the Zoom stuff, so you could close all those, but.
I have class file.
Yeah. Okay. So as long as you okay, say cancel to that. Now go over to the far right, put your mouse to the very bottom right corner. No, bottom right, bottom. Yep. Bottom, take your mouse to the very bottom. Yeah, right there. And now even lower, and get that little upper arrow. No, put your mouse even lower. Here, let me see if I can request remote control to show you. This is the only part that's always hard to explain. So okay, so can you give me remote control? There you go. Okay, so guys, when I say far bottom right, like what you did is you closed all the sizes of these, and this is the other way around. I really want you to have these open, fill in your screen. So I'm going to click on that so that it fills your screen. Okay, so I want this to be filled. And then I want you to go to Photoshop and I want you to fill the screen. So all your screens, everyone out there, click on this maximize button so your programs fill your screens. And how you go from one to the other is by using these down there. So now I'm going to go to bridge. Okay. And it's not popping up yet. Let's go to bridge. Bridge is not opening. That's your problem. Can I minimize the rest to see what's happening to bridge? But you certainly don't need to have any of the Zoom stuff here because we're not inside of Zoom in VDI. Okay. I'm trying to run your stuff and it's not letting me run. Okay, so this is when I said bottom right,
Okay.
Mayuri, I mentioned way down here.
Yes.
You need to open this, click on this. Did you do this morning where you disconnected from here? Preferences. Okay, you need to disconnect your account. When you leave on Friday or every time you use, or if not today, you say disconnect. And then you have to sign in again. You need to do this each time you open, otherwise the files appear corrupted, which is a message you were getting. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So put in your pipeline email here. Everyone who's on VDI has to do this each time. Okay? It's a bummer, but it takes only like 30 seconds total. But then that helps the Google Drive files refresh, and then you don't get those kind of issues. Okay, so now it's loading fresh new files. Okay. All right, so now we need your bridge to open up, which I don't know why your bridge is not opening up. That's the only thing that doesn't seem to be working here. It's driving me a bit crazy, and I don't know why you have Zoom.
Because
I mean,
am I supposed to sign in Zoom after the DVI?
no,
Oh,
nothing.
before.
You don't need any of that. So this is probably causing some problems. I'm trying to get rid of them, but they're not turning off for some reason. And bridge is not opening up. So I'm trying to maybe close it and reopen it. Okay, bridge closed. And I cannot seem to close Zoom, so I don't know why. I'm just going to leave it there, but you're inside of VDI, so you're already using Zoom to be in class, so we don't want weird stuff going on. So anyway, I can't get rid of Zoom, so I don't know, but you need to open up Bridge again. So we're going to go over here.
Okay.
And open Bridge, because I don't know why your Bridge wasn't working. And now once it opens up, hopefully you'll be able to find it. But now let's go back to Adobe InDesign and let's see if this has refreshed such that if you click on it now, go ahead and click on it now and see if this time it opens up. There it is. Okay, guys. So all it takes is opening up every time you start your VDI session, signing into your Google Drive. Otherwise, you're going to get messages like hers, which was basically a message saying that your file is corrupted, okay, that it can't open it. And that's because you haven't signed out or signed in of your VDI. All right. So I'm going to stop your sharing. And Justine, what was your question?
Oh, I was just a little slow in kind of getting I up to speed, but I got now. I
Okay.
had Photoshop open and I wasn't clear on what the other program was we were supposed to open, but
Oh,
I got it. It's
got
InDesign.
it. Thank you. InDesign.
So I think I'm slowly getting everything together here.
Okay, that's fine. But remember, the most important thing was to have done this portion that I just did with Mayuri. Everyone who's on VDI, you have to refresh. It's the one. I think at this point, the main drawback, if anything, is that every time you go to VDI, everything works fine, but your files are corrupted if you don't refresh them each time. Okay, so now we're back on my screen. Now I'm sharing mine. And what I have done is that I've deleted, and so let me undo. What I said is I deleted the file that we had imported last time. Okay, so just selected as opposed to when you're clicking out here, it's not selected. If you just click here, you get the little handles, then it's selected, then you can hit the delete key and you get rid of it all. All right. Now, over here on the left, we have two main arrows. Oh, for some reason we moved back to Essentials instead of Essentials Classic. That's weird. So up here, go to the workspaces and let's get Essentials Classic again. There we go. Essentials Classic has many more options, which if you first come upon InDesign, it might look easier to have less tools. But for what I'm going to teach you, I'm already going to be teaching you stuff that needs more tools. So I'm going to start you guys with Essentials Classic. Now let's reset it because some people might have different things and I need to teach you how to work with these windows. So I'm going to, after you click on Essentials Classic, you need to go there one more time and say reset Essentials Classic. And then you're going to get something like this happening. Okay. So you choose Essentials Classic and then you have to open it again, two things, and reset Essentials Classic. And then you'll have, hopefully at that point, something like me. Yeah?
Yes.
I have a question.
Does anyone? Yes, Alan?
At the, I have the white rectangle, but the blue border inside it, I don't have the blue frame.
This one here?
Yeah.
That's okay. We're actually not, it's the margins that you set and you probably, maybe you made yours differently. So we'll get there. Actually, I can show you how to get them back, but for now, ignore them because that was one of those things that we didn't change. We just said, okay, and they showed up. So maybe your basic setup didn't have them. That's okay. We're not going to use them right now, but we'll get to it.
Okay, thanks.
So are your panels all like this now? So
Mine actually says page failed to load under the CC libraries. Does that matter? After I hit the reset?
okay, so I'm going to talk about CC libraries. So then let me explain and then we'll answer. The first question is, are you in VDI or are you in your own home subscription version? Because if you are in your own home subscription version, you'll be able to use the libraries. If you're on VDI, you won't.
Okay.
So let me explain what this is. What are you in? Home or school?
CDI, school.
School. Okay. So here's the thing. The CC libraries are it's one of the perks, if you want, of having a subscription. And they're very useful. So if you do have a subscription, it's really cool, but I can't demo it because on VDI, I don't have access to my libraries because I am not signed in as me. So what CC libraries is you can make an object, create a shape in InDesign that you later or in Photoshop or in Illustrator or in any of these programs that you later want to use somewhere else. So you put it in your library and then when you open the other program, you just have it there and you just drag it out into the other program. And that library space where you're putting it in is basically up in the cloud in the Adobe Cloud, but you don't have an Adobe Cloud account until you own a subscription to it. Does that make sense? Which is why for those of us in VDI, and even when I teach at school, I can never demonstrate the libraries. Those of you guys who do have it working, I can demonstrate. And in fact, I can change my share later to my personal version of these programs and I can show you the libraries. But for now, since half of the class or more, 75% of this class is on VDI, we can't use the libraries. So right now we're just going to ignore it. And so we're just going to get rid of this tab. So how do you get rid of something you don't want? Let's grab where it says CC libraries and let's drag it out like that. So it disconnects. And for those of you who are working at home with it and you have space on your screen, don't get rid of it because you're going to have it there for some need. What you can do is you can collapse it. So if you're at home, so this back to where it was before. If you're at home, just use this little double-headed arrow and collapse it so that it becomes smaller in case it's big. And then if you have enough space, just leave it there. You can also make it even smaller, grabbing with your mouse, put it in where this line it's double-handed and you can make it smaller and it stays there until you need it. If you think you won't need it until you teach you about it, then just get rid of it. as I said, by dragging it out, and then this time I dragged it out collapsed, and that's why it shows up differently than I dragged it out the first time, and then close the top left bottom, top left X. So you get rid of that, okay? And then we can go over here to these panels and expand them so that we see them. And now this looks much more like it was in Illustrator or in Photoshop, where these are the main panels that have a lot of information. Okay, so basically I'm going to do that again. I'm going to reset my classics so that it shows up. So what I said is get rid of your CC libraries because we can't use them and we don't want to use up real estate, by dragging it out like that, and then go to that X and get rid of it. And then these panels, which are semi-collapsed, there's three positions. There's the really collapsed where they're just icons. There's the semi-collapsed where you have the words with the icons. And then there's the stretched out where you can see them bigger. So you can stretch this as much as you want. But if you want to see them, go to this double-headed arrow and expand your panels. And now we begin to have the usable panels. Okay. Did I lose anyone with all of that, or did you kind of make your way to having expanded panels?
I'm okay.
Anyone else, anyone need a hand with this part? So everyone who got here, hold on, everyone who got here after I mentioned it, please go to the chat and sign in. But notice that at the bottom of the chat right now, the last two things that are in there have the CRN for the new Photoshop class that's starting in 2 weeks. And there's two there. The top one that says Photoshop is the wrong schedule. It's the one that says new Photoshop. That's the right schedule. It's 12:30 to 3:40. No, it's 12 to 3:40. I got that wrong again. Oh my goodness. How did I? Photoshop is 12 to 3:40. My goodness, that's the correct schedule. And then a few up above that, it's Illustrator. Okay, so yes, you had a question?
Oh, hi, yes. I'm sorry, I missed earlier when I was trying to get caught up, I missed the action that you told us to do with removing the item, the flower. And I just missed how
yeah, it was just that the box appears here.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that you have your selection tool, just click on it on anything, and I just hit the delete key on your keyboard or the backspace if you're in Mac, just the delete key on your keyboard, and it goes away. Do you know where the delete key on your keyboard is? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got it.
That's true. That's true. No, you're. I was thinking because on the Mac, on the PC, the keyboard has a delete and a backspace, and they do different things. So the backspace on the Windows key is equivalent to our delete key on the Mac, and the delete key on the Windows keyboard actually deletes something differently. So anyway, I don't know. The Windows keyboard has different things happening between the backspace and the delete key. So hit the backspace key to get rid of that box.
Delete.
Or probably the delete key works also.
Yeah, it's it. Thank you.
Probably the delete key on the PC works also, but sometimes it gets rid of only what's inside, but you don't know. So I'm not going to explain. I'm going to explain it now in a minute what I mean by what's inside or outside. So here I'm going back to zooming in and zooming out. And just as a reminder, to do this, you have to hold down the control key on a PC or on VDI, or the command key on the Mac, and then go to the plus and minus keys and tap, 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 and you go plus, 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 you get really big, minus, 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 you get really small. And then controller command 0, the page fills your screen. Okay. So those are all things that you want. And then control command 1 gives you more space around it. So it depends on what you want to see. So those are the ins and outs to get in and out of the document. And we're going to use that a lot. Now, something that you might have not seen at all yet is that here we have something called pages. So we're going to not make a document. This document only has one page right now. So all you see is one page. Since we're not going to make more pages in this document, we have a lot of space dedicated to pages, and I'm not going to have 10 pages, 4 pages, or 10 pages. So what I can do is go over here. I want more space in this panel. So when you put your mouse right on that line in between that panel and this panel, you see this double-headed arrow, you can click and drag it up to bring it up and have more space and see other panels. Now,
Question.
you can do that to all of your panels. You can move them up and down for whatever it is that we need. You can make them wider and smaller. It depends on what you want and how much space you have. Okay, so I'm just showing you a little bit how to manipulate panels, not because right now it matters too much. Okay, who had a
I
question?
missed it, but my
Hold on. Alan was asking me something. Give me a second, Abby.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, I just have properties or libraries. I don't have the same panels that you have on the right-hand side.
Did you choose Essentials Classic?
I believe so. Let me check.
I believe that you are in Essentials.
Yes, I'm in Essentials Classic, and I reset Essentials Classic. I'm resetting it again. Yeah. And I have properties and libraries on the right-hand side.
Which is what I get when I'm in Essentials, properties and libraries, right? That properties, pages and libraries.
Well, maybe a different version of
Yeah, that's what I'm
2021.
wondering. I believe this is the 2020 that we're using here.
I have minus 2000.
Let me see, what versions are we opening here? We're opening, my InDesign is 2021 and our bridge is Animator is 2020. Sometimes some are 2020, some are 2021, but our bridge and our InDesign are 2021. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, wait a minute, I'm looking at Illustrator, not InDesign.
Oh, that's
the
different.
messed up.
Yeah, I haven't opened Illustrator yet. Right now, we only have InDesign open. Okay, cool. That explains it. Otherwise, I was like, I don't know what else to say. Okay. Okay, so
Can I just
now,
my swatches are to the left. Like everything I click on, pages, layers, links, they come up to the left. Did I miss something? I like how they're underneath yours.
that is different. That I need to see. So share with me your screen.
Okay.
That is something that I don't know how to answer. I can't see it right now. I'll stop my video for a second while I take a bite of food here. While you're sharing your screen. So it's 2 steps to share your screen. You
Okay.
hit the big share and then you have to go back and hit the bottom right little blue button with white letters that says share at the bottom of that second screen you're seeing.
I know I've got it on a second screen and now it's asking me to quit to share record. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, no, it's okay because everyone needs to be able to share. You're on a Mac then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's asking you to modify your permissions, which isn't hard to do. Just
I
go.
do that. I'm gonna have to quit out of Zoom.
Actually, no, just say cancel or no to that.
Here, okay. Well, I say cancel. I can say later or quit now. So I'll
Say later. Say later. Don't quit now. Say later.
Okay. But now it's not gonna let me.
You need to modify your system
do that.
preferences.
I'll do it over the
Ask me during break.
break.
No, there it is. No, see, once you say, okay, so stop, you're there.
Okay.
Oh, no. Ah,
Oh, sorry.
we're in the exact spot. I was gonna say that there it is. You can just click right there, but never mind. That's what that box that came up, that's the one that was helping us modify, but too late, never mind, you're sharing. So what you're showing me is that you're missing, okay, so over there where it says pages, layers, links, and stuff like that, see it that right in the above the word pages, if you move, no, where's your mouse? Move the mouse over to, yeah, that little, okay, move a little bit more to the right. Yeah, click on that. Click on it again. It's not expanding. Yeah,
There we go.
now it expanded. So little double-headed arrow are always expand or collapse, okay?
Okay. Thanks.
So that's that little double-headed arrow. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, any other question? Yes, Justine?
Is there something that we should be doing with the CC libraries column?
You
That's
should be
the
getting rid
right-
of it. Mhm.
Okay, how do
So
you do that?
I'm going to share my screen. when I demoed it before, you were still trying to set yours up. So when you reset, you have the CC libraries here. Just
Mhm.
grab it, drag it out like that, and then close it.
Oh, okay.
With that little X. And then you're left with this thing sharing where these are collapsed. So you go to this editor, click on that and expands the
Oh.
panels.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I was trying to do it, and so I wasn't seeing exactly what you're doing. When I grab it and pull it, the column to the left of it that has pages, layers, links, that comes with it.
If you grabbed from the word CC libraries, it shouldn't. It should only separate this one.
I know it shouldn't, but
I
and then I
know.
just click the little X in the
No, but look, if you put your mouse on
So-
top there, then the whole thing comes with you because you put your mouse on that line. So you really need to put your mouse just on the
just
word
on the word.
libraries.
Okay.
So now reset again. And
Oh, okay.
everyone wants to be trying that. So don't put your tip of your mouse on the black bar, on the word libraries.
Okay.
And that drags out only
Ah,
libraries.
Yes.
And then
okay.
see this
Okay.
little X and get rid of it.
Yes.
Everything has its different feature. And then the little double-headed area, click on that and it expands.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, this is all good practice because once you learn how to do it at this level, then you know how to do it for anything, right? So all Illustrator, InDesign, Bridge, Photoshop, they all work with the same exact way. If you have a panel that you don't want, you click on it, you drag it out, you get rid of it. If you want something that you want in, you'll peg it in there and stuff like that. Anyway, so you can expand panels, make them smaller with this kind of thing. So they all work the same way across all of the Adobe programs. No matter which you open it, they have that same way of working at a basic workspace level. All right. So now with InDesign open and nothing in here. InDesign is a place where you lay things out, right? So we're going to bring an image in now, not that flower. We're going to bring in another image in. So even though I know we called it flower InDesign, now that I think about it, maybe let's bring that flower in. So does anyone remember how we brought that flower in? And I'm purposely not saying the word that is the command. Yes, you place something. Okay. So how we find that place, we go up to File, right there, Place, and the shortcut Control D. Okay, so we place. Now notice, by the way, that you can also place from CC libraries, which is what I was telling you, where you can save things. Or if your libraries are open here, you can just drag them in from the libraries. Usually you would place from somewhere that you can't see, like us, that we're not seeing the other documents. So we're going to place. And when you say place, it asks you, what do you want to place? So basically this little window opens saying, go find your stuff. So for those of you at home, wherever you put the stuff, if you still have them in downloads, wherever you have your stuff, go find them. For those of us on VDI, we're going to go to Google Drive, shared drives, double click shared drives, Digital Design Techniques, shared drive, class files, Digital Design Techniques, double click. So I'm double clicking each time. So basically I'm making this bigger so you can see the whole set of names. So over here, you can see the whole thing. It's Digital Design Techniques, shared drive. So if you start from the back, it's shared drives, Digital Design Techniques, class files. Okay. All right. So now over here, the file the files that we were working on was in, I believe it was under file formats, right? Let me just double click. No, it was under AI versus PSD. That's where it was. Under, so go into the AI versus PSD files, double click there. And here we have our different flowers. Now, I'm going to make this a bit smaller so you can see. So this flower was an Adobe Illustrator file. This flower was a JPEG. And this flower, and I'm going to make this one, it was an Adobe Photoshop image, which is basically a PSD. Okay. So this is a PSD, this is a JPEG, and this is an Adobe Illustrator. The difference will be that this one is going to come in as a vector file. So it's good if it's a logo. You can make it as big or as small as you want. This is a JPEG, and it's been made whatever size it's been made. Once we're here, we can't find out. We need to find the stuff out through Bridge, but we know it's much smaller because look at the file size than this one, which is a layered Photoshop image. It's a PSD, and it's much bigger, yet it's supposedly the same flower, right? So the one that we brought in last week was this one, the Photoshop image. So let's select that one. And then say open. It's possible that we had brought in the one that we had saved in our own drive. I'm not sure, but right now let's use this one. So when I first say place, notice that it's got this little my mouse is kind of holding on to a little mini version of the image that I need to place. And some of you guys already did this with me in Illustrator this week. There's two ways to drop this image. I can either click or I can click and drag. If I don't know the size of this file, if I have no idea what size this flower is coming in, then the best thing to do is to just do a little click. I'm going to just click. And it drops in at whatever size it was created in Photoshop, which is pretty big, right? So that's how it drops in. Now, if I don't want it to drop in, did it work for you guys? It all just dropped in. Remember, this was a 5.5 by 7 document. So I'm going to do control minus. And what we're seeing is that this drops in bigger than what I need. I'm going to, what I'm going to do next, there's only one important thing that you should not do. For the selection tool, the only place you cannot click is this little circle where my mouse turns into a hand. Do not click there, and don't give in to the temptation. Don't do that yet. Move anywhere else where your mouse looks like an arrow is fine. When it moves into that circle, it's just like the hand. Do not use that. Anywhere else, click and move this around.
Diana,
Why is this? Yeah,
I clicked the circle.
okay. Just do
But
Command
now
Z.
I only have partial flowers.
Okay, so say Command Z, Control or Command Z to undo what you just did. But I'm very confused because I'm trying to move this and it's not moving, which is bizarre. Why is this not moving? I can make it bigger or smaller, but I can't move it. Is this happening to you guys too, or is it just me? My
Mine
Illustrator.
looks fine.
Yeah, my Illustrator was doing weird stuff the other day, and now it looks like InDesign is doing weird stuff. This is just moving something. I don't know why I can't move it. I'm going to place it again. This is I'm going to have to report it at this point because Illustrator stuff, basic things that need to be working, weren't working for me the other day. And now this is the most basic of things. I should be able to move this. Ah. Is this happening to anyone on VDI or just to me? Okay, you need to answer. Is everyone able to move this? If you click here, is your flower moving?
Yes, it's.
Okay, so then if it is not moving, raise your hands or tell me.
Yeah, teacher, I'm a little bit behind you.
Okay,
And mine's not moving either.
who spoke
Please
there?
tell you.
Okay, so this is crazy making. This is absolutely crazy making, and I'm just, let me go into the layers and see if perchance anything got locked. No.
Nice.
This is bizarre. How can I teach you if this isn't working? I'm sorry, it's one, all right. Very frustrating. This is a basic skill just to move something and it's not working and I can't teach you more if this isn't working. Oh. Okay, let me get rid of it. Let me see if I open a new, if I create a new, let me just see if I create a new document, if it's some issue with this document. I'm gonna quickly create something that's identical to what I have, but new, and place something, because sometimes something is wrong with the document. Okay. No, it's, oh, that is very frustrating. Let me place a smaller file. Okay. And the inside tool isn't working either. Wow. My two main tools are not working. I don't know why it's not working. What I'm gonna do is I know Illustrator was working fine today and Photoshop was working fine. So we can keep working. I can keep teaching you a lot with Illustrator and with Photoshop. And I need to have them check out and see what's happening, because this is just not, I can't, this, I mean, if my mouse, my basic selection tool isn't working, I am far from being able to show you how the basic things of this computer work. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart InDesign. So anyway, sorry guys, for this false start. I can't, if I can't use this, I can't teach you. So I'm going to close this. Go ahead and I'm going to close this one and not save. And I'm going to close my InDesign and I'm going to restart it. But if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. So I'm going to give it one more try. And if not, I'm going to go into Illustrator and Photoshop. But you guys, meanwhile, while that's opening in the background, I want to show you something that I have opened here in Photoshop. So this is an example of a document that we're going to do something similar to this. We're going to create it, but we're not going to create it all in Photoshop. We're going to be creating the different parts and pieces. We're going to be having a background. Then we're going to have an object that is from a different image that we're going to cut out, and we're going to put it on top of that background. Then we're going to make some decorations, which are these things. That kind of stuff can all be done in Photoshop. Then we're going to create some shapes like these stars. Then we're going to create some text in Illustrator, create it like a logo. And then we're going to put this all together in InDesign. And we're going to make a couple sizes of it. We're going to make something for like a postcard, and then something for like a web banner of the same material, to see how to adapt and change to create that information for two different mediums with the same material. Okay. So I need to go in and teach you something about each of the programs in order to get to a final piece like this. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
with my Adobe having to open up, let me see one last time if I can make this work. And if I can't make this work, then I give up. So can I move this? No, I cannot. I still cannot move it, which is crazy making. So I give up. I'm going to close. Let's close InDesign for now, because if I can't show it to you, I can't teach it to you. So everyone close InDesign. That way there's one less on your computer, even if you're at home or if you're in VDI for sure. And instead, we're going to work within Illustrator and Photoshop. So let's forget Illustrator for now. Let's work with Photoshop to start with.
Jana?
Yes.
Question: to close InDesign, do we just go up to the little X in the far upper right corner?
Yeah, which is, I know for Mac people, that's weird, but for on a PC, that's how you would close a program. For Mac,
Oh,
we
that's fine.
actually go to the name and quit, but in VDI, yeah, you go to that top right X and
Okay.
close it from there.
Just want to make sure there was no other step I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's just that we don't, that's one of the other differences amongst programs. We don't close things that way in on a Mac. We close them from so if you're in a Mac, go to the top left here where you see the apple, and next to the apple, you see the word InDesign, and you hold on, you click on the name InDesign, and you drag down to the word quit. That's how you close a program on a Mac. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. You don't have anything yet in Photoshop, in fact, so let's go back to VDR. And I'm going to be showing you, this is something that I have, but that you don't have. And I'm going to be showing you how to put things together. But first I wanted to kind of give you an idea of how these things happen. Okay, so we have this is a combination, and we have a background image that has already been worked on in the sense that it's been given some fake kind of dust and scratches kind of thing. So it looks like it's an image that's been stepped on or dirtied. Okay, so that one's already ready to go without layers, but and the photograph doesn't come that way. That was created. So we're going to be working on an image and make some effects to create something like that. Then there's shapes. Okay, so there's some shapes that got created here and that got made, and all these shapes, these are created as vector files. A vector file is something that you usually create in Illustrator. Those of you who've taken my Illustrator classes, we've done shapes like this galore. Well, guess what? You have those same tools available in Photoshop where you can create some vector shapes. Now, what's the biggest difference? And let me show you when I zoom in to a vector shape. When I zoom into a vector shape, actually, maybe this wasn't created as a vector shape. I was going to show you a vector shape is sharp, but I'm not sure if this one got created as a vector shape now that I see that it's not sharp. See how it's got pixels on its edges? So, but that is a vector shape, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you how to create vector shapes in Photoshop. And then in this case, this one is a shape that got created and it was white, and then it just got made more transparent, okay, to have that effect. So over here, then we have other patterns similar to those created and made more transparent just to give shapes. You have some guides. All of this is stuff that normally I don't show in Photoshop because this is more like a design kind of thing. And then you have the ship on top and other information. And then we have a logo. This is an actual Adobe Illustrator file that's been placed in here for placement purposes. Now for placement purposes, you can put these things in here, but ideally this is not your end file. Your end file would be something you create in InDesign, okay? So, and then there's a little copyright line and stuff like that. So you would need to put in the logo here to figure out where to put the spaceship and all of that. But you would leave this off. You would create just the Photoshop file, send that to InDesign, and in Illustrator, we would make a logo, and then in InDesign, we'd all put it together and create the final piece. Okay. So those are kind of steps that we're going to be taking. We're going to be using a different background than this one because this one doesn't have enough resolution, but other than that, we'll be doing something similar to this. So let's head back to Bridge. And we're going to start working with some files to get ready to create a piece like that. So is everyone in Bridge now?
No.
All right. Someone said no.
No.
Is your Bridge, oh, your Bridge wasn't opening before. Did it open now, Mayuri?
Should be. I'm waiting. It's loading.
Okay. It was loading when we shared your screen. All right. So let's go into this actually for Students Creek Start. Do you see the folder called for Students Creek Start? In your Digital Design Techniques shared drive, in your critical files, this Design Techniques, you should see your folder for Students Creek Start. I am seeing puzzled looking faces.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I find it. Thank you.
I cannot find it.
All right. So can you share your screen, Veronica?
Yeah, give me a moment because I'm using Zoom in another device.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else who can't find it, who needs help?
Yeah, me.
Okay. So Justine,
I wanna make sure
well,
I'm looking in the right place.
can you share your screen, Justine?
Sure.
Veronica's on a bunch of different devices she needs to figure out, and then she can share. But meanwhile, you go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. I think it's probably a matter of just the way that it's It's set
Yeah,
up
I
instead
just
of
wanna,
lists,
yeah.
it's set up in thumbnails, and I'm just
All right, so here on the
trying to get my
top
bearings.
left, you see a folder. Yeah, on the far left, you see a folder called class files. No, the only yellow folder.
Yes, yes.
Double click. Just double click.
I did, but
There it goes in. Okay, so now you're inside the class
Okay.
files. And then for Students Creek Start, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And here we are.
all right, thank you.
Okay, so you just need to go in and then go in again. Okay, so Veronica just accessed your other computer. So whenever you're ready to share.
No,
And-
I found it. When you should explain her again, I found it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, anyone else who needs it? Hi, Tim, by the way, I noticed you arrived a while ago. I just didn't say hi. Is everyone have the files now then?
Yes.
Anne and Bonnie, Jennifer, people I don't hear from much. Yeah. Okay. All right. Prang, I know you're always on top of it. Okay. So I'm going to share screen. And so here we have two files. One is a JPEG. So if there's a JPEG in Bridge and I double click on it, where is it going to open?
Photoshop.
Photoshop?
Yep. A JPEG is a pixel-based image taken by a camera or by a scanner at most, but mostly by a camera of some kind, including a phone or any kind of camera. And the default document to open and manipulate any pixel-based images is Photoshop. So if I double click here, it'll open in Photoshop. How about this thing as an RTF? Does anyone know what an RTF file is? From,
Looks
it's
like
a rich text document. So, yeah, you were saying something, Bonnie? No. So a rich text document, it's a text file. In this case, it shows up as a Word file, but it really, by being an RTF, I don't know why it's showing that logo. It's in any kind of document that deals with text, any kind of desktop publishing, like Word or even WordPad or Pages or anything that deals with text can open an RTF for text. So it's pretty typical to put text that's going to be worked with inside of images in a generic document. If you use Word, the program Word, then the person who you're giving this files to needs to own Word, and not everyone owns Word. If you put things in Google Docs, people have to be using Google Docs. So RTF is kind of like generic mode of text documents. So many times text that gets to be created for a document gets put like that. So anyway, we're going to open this document and we're going to double click on it and we're going to open it by double clicking. It's going to open in Photoshop. So I'll go ahead and document, double click the creek. And by double clicking the creek, you've got the, it should open. And here we go. Someone just arrived. I don't know if it's someone's second computer or if someone's arriving. I'm letting them in. Okay. All right. I think that it might be something up with my computer right now because I'm having another thing quitting behind the screen. So I don't know if it's just me. I would think it was just me what happened with InDesign, except for a few of you guys said it happened to you too. So
Yeah, no, when I double click it, it didn't open in my Photoshop.
well, did you open it from Bridge though? See, you're the one who didn't have Bridge working.
Yes, I'm opening from Bridge and now it's showing up. Sorry.
Okay, no, good. That's great. Because if you open it from, say, the File Explorer, it won't work. A
Okay.
JPEG in the File Explorer or a JPEG on a Mac in a Finder will open up in like a preview document or in like a Windows viewer or something. So you need to be in Bridge to double click a JPEG for it to open in Photoshop. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So who just arrived? Someone just arrived? Or did someone join in with a second computer?
probably was me in the other device.
No, I let you in and your name is Veronica. Someone else called Irie or Elrie just arrived. At least their computer said that name. I don't see them there now, but I just let someone in with that name. I don't see them in the participants, so I don't know. Anyway, it was after you arrived, someone else arrived that I let in. Okay, so here we have an image. Okay. Now, in order to see it a little bit better, we can do Control plus or Control minus. I'm going to make my screen a bit smaller because those of you who are sharing screens have less space. There we go. I'm going to Control plus to see it a little bit bigger. Okay. Notice that this image has a weirdness here in the middle, like a spiral. That's a watermark. Okay. These are sample images from different courses and stuff that we use as educators. And so that's a watermark. What a watermark means is somebody put that in there so that no one really steals the image, right? So like they don't want people, if you don't want somebody to use your photo to make money off of it, not only if you post it on the web, you have to protect it. And one of the ways to protect it is by putting watermarks. That said, this is not a very good watermark because it's actually a very easy watermark to get rid of if you know what you're doing in Photoshop. So if you're going to put a watermark, maybe you need to do it a little bit less subtly. But for now, it's subtle enough that we're going to leave it there and just not notice it. Okay, so here we have an image that we want to use on a little poster, and we're going to have a little poster written with some text that I showed you there. We're going to have the text down here. We're going to have a headline over here. So before we do any of that, we want to look at the image. So the only place to fix an image if it needs any fixing is in Photoshop, right? Once this is already an InDesign in my poster or in my postcard or in whatever place I'm gonna do, if there's anything else I still want to do the image, I have to come back to Photoshop. So we first open an image in Photoshop to see what we have. And so this is what we have here. And I'm trying to find the final file to show you. Give me a second, because that I have here, I believe I have it here in my computer to show you. I'm gonna, since I don't think Photoshop is, or my InDesign is working well, I'm gonna open it in my personal InDesign and then share that screen with you, because my InDesign clearly in here isn't working. So I'm opening this in the background so that I can show you what's the end goal for what we're going to be doing here. And the first thing, just tell me off the top of your heads, looking at this image, is there anything that bugs you, bothers you, that you would like to change, that you would like more of, that you would like less of? Go ahead and tell me.
To make the city background a little more distinctive rather than blurry. Whatever the background is.
Okay, so when you say more distinctive, can you be more specific? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know, to improve the contrast in it, and
maybe, okay.
Or color cast in it.
So I have a screen, I have here, let me share this new screen. Give me a second to show you it. This is on my computer's InDesign because I don't trust the other InDesign. So we're going to end up with something kind of like that. Okay. So that photograph is going to be the background. We're going to have a headline on top, some text, and then we're going to make this little box here. And notice that this box has a headline and then some text here and some text there. Okay, so there's a column, and this gutter isn't very well defined. Notice that it's kind of hard to notice even. There just should be a bigger gutter to notice that it's 2 columns. But anyway, so that is kind of what we're heading towards doing. Okay. Now I'm going to keep sharing this with you when I need to keep us in mind, to keep you in mind of what we're doing. But When you start, you don't have all of that. You just have an idea. Maybe you sketched it out on a piece of paper. Maybe you have some idea of what you're going to do. But right now you start with an image. So let me go back to our working image. Okay, so when I look at this image myself, I see that there's some uniformity here of green. There's some lighter colors over there, but I'm intending to put text down here. And putting text down here is a little bit complicated because I have white and dark areas in this image, right? And so if I try to put text here over white and dark areas, what would I do? Would I wait white, black text? It'll show maybe over here, but not over here. White text won't show here. And anyway, there's so much detail everywhere that it's going to be pretty much impossible to have it show on either one. I'm actually going to change my share. I'm going to share my entire screen so you guys can see both my personal one and the other one at the same time. That way you can compare and begin to visualize what we're going to be doing. Let me share the entire desktop. There we go. So, hi, Maylee. Let's, oh, Anne, I'm sorry, you're having issues with your laptop. So here's the thing, Maylee, you're not very far. This is simply go to Bridge, open up Bridge, and go into the class files, and then open this thing that says for students Creek Start, double click, and then open this JPEG. That's all we have open right now. We were working on something else before that we had to change, and that's why you can just open that and you'll be here. This will be in there. So we're going to end up doing something like that. And notice that one solution to that could be to darken this whole area and then write over a dark part of it. I'm going to have you guys give me ideas. I can just ignore this and cut the photo there, but then I might lose the whole waterfall. One thing that bugs me that hasn't been taken care of here is this little white tip here. This bottom white tip bugs me, and I'd rather not have that. Maybe that little bright branch, like things that are a bit, that actually bugs me a little bit too when I look at this here. So I'd like to make some changes before I use it here. But basically in this final solution, and there can be other final solutions, this is just one option, and I am completely open to having you guys create your own final solutions, but I'll teach you the techniques for how to get to this. But one option is to create a box for the text that then overlaps the rest so that then it equalizes that background. It would still be easier though if we got this darkened a little bit and maybe this darkened a little bit so that it's a bit more even underneath. So we're going to do a lot of these things in Photoshop very quickly with a retouching tool and with an adjustment layer tool. So I'm going to show you a few techniques. And as I said, I can't go deep into each one of these programs, but just a few easy things. When I teach you Photoshop in the Photoshop class, I'll teach you how to do this in a non-destructive manner. Non-destructive manner, by that I mean doing things in a way that isn't permanent. But I'm not going to show you that right now. Right now, we're going to do it in a destructive manner, meaning we're just going to fix it straight on this file. So let's head over here to the tools that we have on the left. Oh, did we open Photoshop last week here? Have we already changed our workspace here to essentials? We did that here already, didn't we?
I think so. Didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So on the left side, we have, those of you who are in my morning Photoshop class, in Photoshop in the morning, I use the photography setup. But here in InDesign, we're using, in DigitalDesignTechniques, we're using essentials. So over here, we have only one little Band-Aid looking piece. If you have a different workspace, you might have more Band-Aids. But this top Band-Aid called the healing brush tool, that's all we want. So click on that little Band-Aid. Once you have that clicked on, you'll have some kind of a circle going. Ignore the little red dot, is just for you to see it better, but you will have a white circle. If you go to your keyboards, look for your brackets. brackets are the letters that are to the right of your letter P on your keyboard. If you find the letter P to the right of that, you have the bracket keys. So you can go smaller and bigger. By each time I click the open bracket key or the close bracket key, my circle becomes much bigger or much smaller. When it becomes really small, it becomes hard to see. It becomes like a cross or a plus sign. But when it gets bigger, it looks like a circle. Okay. So what you want to do is have this circle be about the size of what you want to fix. And over here, I'd like this little white tip to get darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my shape a little bit bigger than my blemish. And I'm just going to click and drag around this. Oh, this is the wrong. I want the spot healing brush tool. Okay. So watch. If you got a message like this, say, okay, we got the wrong tool that comes with the essentials. Click and hold this Band-Aid, and it's the top one that we need, the spot healing brush tool. You might have already had that one. I don't know, because I don't know which one is a default one, but it's the spot healing brush tool that we need. I think. Okay, so if you click and hold your mouse, there's many tools under each one. It's the top one that we want. Okay, so once you have that in your mouse, then you can head over to this little tip here and then just drag a little bit just in that little corner. And you see how it got darker?
Yes.
I'm gonna Control plus so you can see that better. So I had it looking like that. And I just went, and it's only, see, if I do here, it's too much because I'm touching stuff that's already brown. I only want to touch the stuff that's white. So I can make this even smaller. And then just click on the stuff that's white and drag across it and drag like that. And what this tool does is it brings stuff from around the shape and replaces it. So now you can do it a little bit, but you don't want to do it to huge, big spots. You could, but maybe concentrate on the ones that are a little bit brighter, like that one that might be a bit more problematic. Or in this case, this little stick of a bush is bugging me, so I can drag across that. See how it blends a little bit more in. Be careful though, if you do this too much, you start having these really fake areas, like right there, I have a little fake area. What you want to do is have the brush be soft-ish so it blends in better. So watch. Here on the top left, see where my mouse is going? Way up top. I'm going way up. This is my mouse. I'm taking it way up to the top. And I'm clicking on, sorry, on this little number. This number is the size of my brush. When I click on the arrow next to the number, I can see that my hardness of my brush matters. And right now my hardness of my brush is 100%, which means it's very, very sharp. When you want to do this kind of work, you want to have a softer brush so it blends in more. So maybe 60% might be a better. So it's a softer edged brush instead of a sharp brush. So it's a little bit, the edges of it blend into the background. You might even want to go 50, depends on the area. So now if I go and do this again, I'll find that it blends in a little bit better. Okay. In this case, it was fine, but I might want to blend in some of the brightest spots.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Maybe it's my problem, but I don't see the left left portion of your image. The screen only shows the part of it. The left section of your screen is.
Yeah, I was moving. I had made my image smaller so that I was only showing in there. Is that what you mean, or are you still seeing only a portion?
Well, now I see the sort of the tree in the upper left, but I don't see any of the tools on the left.
I am sharing my entire screen, which is a lot. So maybe I'll go ahead and share again only this part. I just wanted more time for you guys to see what we were doing here. So I'm going to stop sharing my desktop, which is too much of a share. I'm going to go and share just my window again to make it easier for you to see. Okay. Now I'm sharing just my window with the Photoshop. Is that a bit easier now?
Yes, now I see everything.
Okay, great. Because when I was saying, go up here, go over there, I know how hard it is when you have like a whole bunch of different things going on. Okay. I'm having, here we go. Wow. That better, yeah. Okay, so then I might want to go over here to this little spot that's white that's bugging me right there and click it, but be just gentle. When you're doing something that's going to be such in the background as this image, you can be careful, but what you want is not to have a big circle, because then you're going to fake a whole area. You want to have the smallest amount necessary, so you have a small circle, and only what gets changed is what's inside that circle. So then if you see something else that bugs you, go and just click on that and alone, and that's all you're going to do. So that's good. All right. So now that you might want to, you know, darken a bit this area of these rocks, but this tool wouldn't be the one to do it. This doesn't darken. This tool just replaces stuff. So I don't want to replace all this rock with texture. Where is it going to come from? It's going to look fake if I replace all this rock. So I might want to darken this with another tool. And even these bushes here might be nice if they're a bit darker. Our eyes get taken in better if we have darker edges going into the image. And these little bushes here and this lightness here is bugging me a little bit. Okay. So what we can do is make a little bit of darkness that just is going to go into these areas. So the first thing I want to do, I've been working with this one quite a while, and I forgot to have you save as and make it be your own image. So let's make this be our own image and save that. And then we're going to have a minute to take a break. So let's go File, Save As. Save on your computer. And then you guys who are saving in the same spot, give it another name. For those of us on Google Drive, on VDI, we're going to save on Google Drive, double click My Drive, and then go find your Digital Design Techniques class. And here we're going to call this one Creek, I don't know, for poster or something, to know that it's just not the same one, or Creek retouched, or whatever you want to call it, and save. Now we're saved. We don't have another layer yet, so it's telling us to save it again as a JPEG, which my morning people learned not to do. But since we're not giving this one other layers right now, we'll just say okay and make sure that this number is at its max, that you don't have some small number there. Make sure that this arrow is at its max, so it says 12, and then say okay. All right. So now that this file is safe, let's go ahead and take a quick break. I don't know about a quick break, but a break. Let's be back in 15 minutes, which is 2:30, puts it as 2:45. Okay? See you guys in 15 minutes. Maylee, are you okay? Did you catch up? Did you open this file in Photoshop? Maylee? Yes, catching up. Okay. So basically all we really did is, at this point, all you need is have this file open in Photoshop. We had open in Design, but we had to close it because I was having issues with it. Anyway, okay. See you guys in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when I went to save as and renamed it, and then went to save, it said you don't have permission to save.
Because you need to save in your drive. If you tried to save where it was, it doesn't let you. You need to do a save as and change. So you need to go File, Save As, and you need to shift from Google Drive. You are in the shared drives. You have to go to Google Drive, go to My Drive. And then if you didn't create a folder yet for your files, then create one by going to New Folder and create a digital design techniques folder.
Yeah, I have the folder.
You already have it, then just double click in there and then you can save in there. You guys can't save in the same folder that it's been taken from. People at home can do that. But as of us on VDI, that shared folder is not one that can be altered. So when you try to save that one, it goes, can't save. So you need to move your file to your own personal drive. And now this is your own personal photo you're working on.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so see you guys at 2:45, which is now 14 minutes from now. All right, I'm back. Are you back? The dulcet tones of the sirens speaking.
Yes.
You're back.
Meanwhile, just for the fun of it, while I'm waiting for everyone to come back, I want to show you, let me share my house in Santa Barbara. We got to make a snowman. This is the
Wow.
snow that we,
You're on the west side?
I'm on the east side. People said it was west side and downtown, but I'm on the east side, you guys, and this is the snowman. This is my look at all these, look at my car, a kayak. This is my garden. Okay, so this is my car. This was the front of my house. Look at that.
Yeah.
And I kept taking photos, and it was 3 p.m. yesterday, and look at how much snow we still had. Well, hail, not
my
snow.
God. Yeah, but
Hail.
stayed on the
And
ground.
this is at 5 p.m. right before the sun left, and we still had one little patch there. Anyway, sorry, it was just too funny.
I had some hail at my house yesterday around midday, but it was tiny, like little grains of rice. I just caught a few of them in my hand.
Yeah,
But
are you near
yeah.
Goleta?
I'm right by Cottage Hospital on De La Vina.
Okay.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of just above
so
the town.
yeah, someone told me that it stopped around, in De La Vina, but so yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I was teaching. Who's in my Illustrator class? When some of you guys are in my Illustrator class?
I was
Tim?
in that class.
Yeah, and I was like, my son came and yelled, Mom, you have to stop. I'm like, I'm teaching. He's like, no, you have to stop. So I ran out for a second, and it was coming down. It was thunderous. It was crazy. So then I ran back in. I showed the guys everything, and then I went out again. And by the time I went out again, it was all covered in white, and we took these pictures. So
Hey, Mom, can you yell a bit less? I'm taking a biology test.
I'm
and it's
sorry.
timed.
Shh. So I'm always shushing everyone else in my house, and now my son's taking a test and he's in the other room and I'm being too loud. It's funny. This I'm in is my living room. Okay, I'm in the living room, and so everyone walks by and bugs me, and I speak and bug everyone. Oh well, right? So much for the home office that I don't have. Okay. So is everyone back? I'm only seeing a couple of videos, which is, you don't want to turn them on, that's fine. But remember, if you just forgot to turn them on, that it really helps me to have you guys be around. Okay, I'm going to try to be a bit quieter. So I hope everyone's back. I just don't know if people are back if I'm not seeing anyone. I'm seeing 3 of you guys. So no, 2 of you guys, 3 of you guys now. Thank you, Lonnie. I'm assuming everyone else is back, or I hope everyone else is back. Okay, so I just tried over break. Instead of eating like I was going to, I spent all that time testing InDesign again with 2 or 3 other files that I have uploaded already. And same problem is, so I'm going to demo InDesign using my computer version. But if that problem is happening to the people who are on VDI, then you won't be able to do it. So we're going to be running into some problems here. So I need to figure out what we're going to do for it to be a doable proposition. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's see how it works. So for now, I'm going to keep working in Photoshop, and then I'll I'll shift and figure out how to do it in InDesign. Okay, so with that same tool that I was showing you before, you could try to get a little bit rid of this watermark, but it would make a lot of fake stuff in there. And that definitely would not, I mean, just because the power of this tool is that it is wonderful, but the problem with this tool is that people completely overuse it and use it wrongly. And then it becomes that you're not aware of how much you're really ruining an image. So be very careful with how much you use that. That said, I told you that I was going to show you how to do a little bit of a darker spot in this area over here. Okay, so to do that, I need to show you the basics of masking. Those of you who are in my Photoshop class, you know that I've done a lot more work with masking, but I'm going to show you a few tricks. So let's go ahead and select our topmost move tool, right top left there. And then here, what we're going to do is we're going to create an adjustment to this file to make everything look darker, which is not our goal. Our goal is only to make this corner darker, right? And this bush darker. But we're going to start by making everything darker. So we're going to do it in a way that's non-destructive. Non-destructive means it's going to go up as a separate layer. So if everyone is looking here at their layers, head down to these little icons you have at the bottom of the layers panel. You see them?
On
Head
my
down
screen,
here.
it doesn't show. It goes beyond.
If I go and show you down here, you're not seeing my mouse disappears.
Yes.
I'm going to show you something that you might like or not like, but you know, at the top of your screen in Zoom, it says you are seeing Diana Musacchio's screen or something like that. You know, where the screen share portion of it. On the very far right, like if you hover over that and you get all the tools, on the far right under where it says more, you should be able to see something there. And since I see a different one because I'm sharing, can you tell me the names of those? One of those is %. Can you tell me what it says? Under the more, what do you guys get?
More.
Where?
Okay.
What is that?
So
Are you
I'm
talking
teaching-
about align, distribute spacing?
No,
No.
sorry. Now I am leaving Photoshop and I'm asking you something about Zoom. A lot of people aren't seeing what I'm doing, and I wanted to show you with Zoom how you can follow my mouse. Like this, if you're seeing only a portion of my screen, I'm going to show you a way to have Zoom follow my mouse, and that's what I'm trying to have you do. So this is it's a Zoom question. So up at the top of your screen somewhere, you should see something that says you are seeing Diana Musacchio's screen.
Right.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
This is a Zoom issue now. But when you hover over that with your mouse, you get a lot of tools, right? Like mute and video and that kind of thing.
No.
View options.
Yeah, view
Oh, to the
options.
right of it,
Okay.
A pull down
View-
arrow, view options.
Okay, view options there, that's one. Click on view options and read to me those choices, because one of those is to follow my mouse.
You have fit to window
Simulation.
and then various percentage, various sizes, 50, 100, 150, 200, 300, request remote control and side-by-side mode. Are what I see in that view options pull down.
Okay. There
That's
used
what
to
I
be,
have too.
there used to be one that was, there used to be one where your screen followed my mouse. So read those again really quickly.
So there was fit to screen, fit to window, 50%, 100%, 150, 200, 300%, request remote control and side-by-side mode.
Well, wait, I just clicked on 50%. And when I did that, then follow presenter's pointer showed up.
Okay, got it. So when you get bigger, so when you go and zoom in one of those, you see things much bigger, right? Which might help you. But you also see only a portion of my screen. Because you see a portion of my screen, then you have the chance to do follow presenters. What is it called, Andrea?
Pointer. Mine says follow presenter's pointer.
For presenter's pointer. Okay. So then now if my pointer is heading up, that 50% you see should be showing you like the color area.
That's working.
And then if my mouse goes all the way to the bottom, it should show you these guys, like that portion is shown bigger, but it kind of follows my pointer. Sometimes it's confusing because don't make it too big or you won't see the whole screen, but it might help you follow where my mouse goes a little better. Do you see it now? Is that
Yeah.
working?
Didn't work for me. The options I see, but and helped me a little bit more, and I put like the option that says sets enter
Six.
full screen.
You're breaking up. Can you say that again?
Okay, I select the option of original size,
Uh-huh.
and that helped me to see everything bigger.
Okay.
But it's not like pointing me where you're like.
Okay, so you're on Zoom on the Chromebook, which is more
Yeah.
limited than the Zoom that people can download. So you have a few less options.
Okay,
So
but
anyway, it still helps to be able to change the Zoom. Okay, the percentage of how you see it. So original fit. So play around with that, you guys, until you find a fit that for your screen works better to see my sample. Okay.
thank you.
All right. So now back to Photoshop. Now I am done with Zoom. I am talking about Photoshop again. So here you have the layers panel. And at the very bottom, some of you guys might have a layers panel that's very close to the bottom right there. But some of you guys might have a layers panel that's very high up. And so it's way down here. But at the bottom of the layers panel, however much space you have, you see these icons. Now, do you see the icons I'm talking about? Almost like a Japanese flag and a circle and a folder. Okay, so let's click on the circle, the one that's a circle that's half black and half white. And when you click, you should get this set of choices. And I want us to head up to the levels. We're going to click on the levels. And I'm kind of waiting here a little bit to make sure everyone found it. But once you click on levels, then two things happen. First of all, now we have a new layer. Above our background, we have something called levels. Okay. And then above that, and I've been moving these around, so I don't know if you see the whole thing or not, you get this thing called the histogram. Some people might get it here. Some people might be getting the histogram here, but you're getting this thing called levels and called properties. Okay, right there. Is everyone seeing that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what matters, and I'm making it bigger and stuff, but I don't think you see that normally. I think you just see that. I think that's all you see of the levels panel. So what this is showing you is the tones of your image from very, very light over here to very, very dark. And these are in between tones. So as you can see, there's not much very, very dark because the line is low, but then the line gets up higher. And that means there's many, many dark-ish tones. And then there's the middle gray, middle tone. And then there's all the way to white, light colors. So we have a mostly darkish gray shadows, and then lighter, and then very few whites. Okay, so we have a lot of some of these whites and stuff. Okay, the reason I'm showing you this is because this levels is a really good thing to get accustomed to. I'm going to keep showing you as much as I can, but these three little triangles that are down here allow us to change this photograph. If I bring this little white point in, then I am making everything lighter to the point of making everything white, because I'm moving the white point and I'm saying everything that used to be dark gray now become white, right? So I'm moving the white point so that all my tones become white. I'm going to take it all the way back. Now I'm going to bring the black point and I'm going to say all the tones that are in this photo become black. So as I move it up, everything starts becoming black. See that?
Mhm.
I'm going to move it all the way back. So here I'm moving my blacks to make them lighter that way, and my whites to make them darker. But then I have my midtones right here. And what I can say is I can make all my midtones lighter or my midtones darker without the extremes, right? So the middle point of this setting is 1. And what I want is to look at this area of the photo. And these tones are mainly middle tones to lightish tones. And I'm going to make them darker. So watch. I'm going to move this. Forget that the whole thing is getting darker. I don't really care. I'm just going to make everything dark enough that this gets darker. And I'm not sure this is going to do the job, if it's going to work, but I can try. So I'm darkening it. This might be a good solution or it might not. I'm just trying. And now everything is getting darker. I know that, but that's okay. We'll fix that. It's just not darkening. See that bush there that I wanted to not have sun? It's not really darkening. I might need to use another type of tool. And the light spots of this aren't working either. But it's a good, I think the levels isn't gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to use something stronger, but never mind. So I grabbed this middle tone and I'll move it just as a beginning example. It's not bad. I'm gonna move it over and I'm just making it a bit darker. So in this case, I went from 1 point that I used to have to about 0.6, 0.7 or something like that. Might be too much, but just to give us an idea of the effect. Okay, so did everyone do that?
Yes.
Now the whole thing went darker, which wasn't my intention. So what I need to do is I need to flip around what I just did. So over here, if you look at the levels that we just created, make sure that you click on this white box. See this white box right here? Click on it to make sure that you have these lines as opposed to like these lines here. You want these lines selecting the white box. And now go to your keyboard and do, for the Mac, it's the command, and for the PC, it's the control. Hold down the control or the command key and then tap the I 1 time. The I is inverse, and that goes from being black to being white. So what we did is we darkened everything. We didn't want everything dark. So now we are, that's a layer we created. It's like we put on sunglasses, right? That made everything darker. But now we go, okay, that's a potential, but I don't want everything to be darker. So now I'm going to inverse that effect with the command I. So now I've taken those glasses off again. So I'm looking at the photo, how it started. Okay. I'm looking at the photographs as if nothing had happened. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let just a little bit of that change in. Okay. So this that we're doing is masking. We're doing it without all of the technical background and knowledge, but it's okay. We're basically saying, okay, I put on some glasses. It was too dark. Now I'm going to just let a little bit of that in, not all of it. Imagine you have a whole wall of windows and you darken everything. And then you go, well, I want some light in. So you can open a little hole and open a little hole in that one area down here. So how we're going to do that is by head over here to the left. We're going to get the brush. Now, if you don't know which brush to get, hold down the B key on your keyboard for brush. And you'll see that this little tool here, that's a brush, is going to be selected. Okay. So with the brush tool selected, this brush works just like the other tool in the sense that we have it be as big or as small as we want it with the same tools we used before. Who remembers how we made this brush tool bigger or smaller before?
Brackets.
The brackets, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make this one pretty big. Okay, so I'm going to make it biggish, about as biggish as this area that I'm trying to darken. Okay, maybe about yay big. So yay big, meaning about this big. It doesn't need to be exactly right. Okay. And the most important thing is that this brush has to be very, very, very soft. So remember up here where we had a number before that we had when we had the Band-Aid, the healing tool, now we have the brush. that tells me how big this brush is in matter of pixels. So this brush is 125 pixels big, or whatever size you made it is around that. Click on that arrow. And we want to make sure that the hardness here, wherever it's at, we want it to be at 0%. Want a very soft brush, very, very, very soft brush. Okay, 0% hardness. So now here's the thing. Remember I told you the first day, pick up a tool and then you modify it. So you can pick up a brush and it can be big, small, fat, fluffy, 2 little hair lines. It can be any kind of brush you want, shapes of brushes. So we get to show, instead of having an array of brushes as a painter would in front of us, we have one tool as a brush, and then we change all of these things to make it the brush we want. So now we got a pretty big fat, like, how many pixels? That's a big chunk of a brush. And we want it to be fluffy, soft. And so that's the hardness. You want it to be very, very gentle and soft. So that's the size and the hardness of the brush. Okay. Now click on some neutral area here. And there's some more choices we need to make. Most of you who have not taken Photoshop yet should see 100% here. Okay. So that's what you should be seeing, which is fine. We can try that out just to see the effect of the brush at 100%. You probably would need less than 100%, but let's, if you were in my class before and you changed that, then move it back up to 100%. Okay, so watch for a minute what's going to happen now. So over here, I'm going to let a little bit of that darkness in again. I'm going to click and drag. See how I'm darkening this corner? If you look over here, what's happening is that I'm painting a little bit of white. Now, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that my paintbrush has to be white. So over here, do you see white? If you don't see white, if you see black, you need to click this double-headed arrow. So that switches from black to white. Now, whenever I say this, someone invariably goes and clicks on the white. And if you click on the white, you get this box here. We want to ignore it, say cancel. And what you need is for these two to switch with a double-headed arrow, black to white, black to white. We need white. And we're going to paint on black with a little bit of white paint to darken. So now this is too much. See, I don't want to darken all of this. But what I'm doing is that I'm making a whole bunch of dark. So I'm going to Control Z to get rid of that. Control Z to get rid of that. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm letting just a little bit of that darkness that I had created in just in this area that was bugging me. And here. Now, this is too big of a brush, so I'm going to move in smaller and try to capture just a bit darker on these leaves, just to bring the energy out of that area. But that seems like it's going to need more. Still better than nothing. And then we're just darkening a bit this area. Now, right now, you might not think it's so different because you've gotten accustomed to how it looks again. So here's another little lighter spot that I'm going to darken. But look over here on the right, if I turn this eyeball off, that's how it was before, and now it's on. So this is the before and after. So see how much I really did darken it? Just once you do it, your eyes get accustomed to it, and then it just becomes normal again. But this is how it was before. I click on the eyeball again. This is how it is now. You see the difference, you guys?
Mhm.
And if you want to, you can bring in a little bit more darkness to the corners with that. But see how here that I have a small brush, it's kind of harder to do because the brush is visible. I don't necessarily want the water to be darker. I'm just so you can see the change. See how here you can see the change more. Every time I want to undo something, I do Control or Command Z. If I darken the sky here, you'll see it even better. Look at that. See how bad it looks there? Control Z. Right there, it's very obvious. I'm going to do Control C to get rid of that. But here, in the midst of all this stuff, it hides because there's just so much other stuff happening. Okay, so now for who is it maybe yes or not working that you want a bit more help with this? All right, so I'm going to stop my share and have you guys share your screen so that I can help you with what you're doing. So Justine.
Okay. I'm not finding in that left-hand column, I'm not finding the little black and white things.
So share your screen so I can help you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying
No need to apologize.
Yeah, no, I just, my brain just feels so fuzzy lately. Okay, share screen. There we go. I can do it. Okay.
Okay, great. So, yes, I see what's happening. So do you see she's,
If it's because my
no,
screen.
yeah,
is
so
small.
stop. No, stop. See how down at the bottom, the last tool she sees is the hand? And it's true, she doesn't see any more than that. So one of the things you can do, and it has to do with screen resolution and stuff. So go up to the very top one of your tools. So go up to the top of your tools. And now right above that, see that little double-headed arrow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, click on that.
Ah,
Click on that. So now what you've done is, since you don't have space, they doubled up. And by doubling up, now you have all the tools available. Okay, so
Okay.
it's just a way to, all those tools that don't fit, by doubling up, now they're in a bit different space, but now you can see them.
I figured
Yeah.
it was something like that. Okay. And I
Mhm.
didn't, I mean, I saw what you did, but I didn't follow the steps of how you did it. So, for what that's worth.
Okay,
Um,
so it was just that double-headed arrow. So now you need white on your tool, on your brush. So you got to click on that little double-headed arrow right above it, right above it. Nope. Okay, so that's what you don't want. So
that was
say
the-
cancel.
Before you said cancel. Okay.
Yeah. And now right above that, see there, that clicks and
Yeah.
switches it.
Okay.
Mhm.
It switches on.
Switches it. For those of you who are a bit more advanced, who like shortcuts, if you hit the X key, that'll switch it as well. X switches and switches and switches your black and white.
Okay.
Right. So now with your brush, shaped, put your brush on with white and put it over the image now. Oh, you need to, hold on, you need to select your levels, because since you moved around, see over there on your layers, go click on the levels layer. Yeah, go click on the one that says levels. So move down to where your layers are. Yeah, click on that one. Yeah. Okay, now put your mouse over the area that you want to affect in the image.
Oh, I guess.
And there's your brush. And now when you start painting, you're going to start darkening it. If you darkened your levels, I don't know how dark were your levels.
Oh.
Looks to me like you didn't darken your
Yeah, it
levels
didn't
too
seem like it
much.
did anything.
Okay, so guys, if your levels don't, I mean, if you look at her, can you point back to your word where it says levels 1? See, okay, yeah. So see there, she did make that hole. See how she has white in her mask? See that whole black box has the bottom right, it says white, but nothing much seems to have happened is because she didn't really get her layer too dark. So move over and click on the part that looks like a little crown. That's right next to it. Yeah, that's your histogram, right? So click on that, double click on that. So you can open up your properties. There you go. And now what you need to do is you need to move that little midpoint and make it darker. So move that all the way
Which
to,
direction is dark? Oh, to the right is dark. Okay.
if one doesn't work, you move it to the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
So
no, I
now
did
see how that
That
corner
way it's
is,
light, and you go this way and it gets
see
dark.
how her corner is getting either darker or lighter,
Yeah,
just in the area where she made that hole.
yeah.
Okay, so now you can move that around. And so if you guys had made yours too light or too dark, then all you need to do is you need to just adapt that again. And as you saw, I told her to click on that little crown area, and then that's how you get your properties back. And you click on the mask when you want to keep painting in or out of your mask. So the mask would be that black area with the hole. So go click on the mask. Yeah, click. When you click there, now you can go back and no, say exit, hit your escape key. Oh, definitely there has to do, so just say view properties. Okay, so now, now you can go back into your area and maybe choose to darken something else or not, or to darken something less. So if you want to darken something less, so yeah, there you go. Now you're darkening your bushes a bit, right? And if you would rather not darken the bushes, you went overboard. Guess what you need to do? Hold on, everyone pay attention. She's painting black and she's making white, right? In that area, making a little hole. Look at her mask there again. See how she made another little hole there? So if you want to get rid of that, you can just switch your paint to white. See how before you switched to black on top? So now switch to white, to black. And now you can paint again over that area to eliminate that hole that you made over the bushes. because
Oh,
now you're painting the other color. So now you're back to the original color, and see how now you're getting rid of that hole in your mask.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay, so
Most
this
of it.
is, well, but
Yeah.
it gives you an idea. So this is how you can
Yeah.
make isolated corrections and changes. Maybe you want to make the waterfall brighter. So then you would have to make another levels where you go brighter instead of darker, and then you make be darken or brighten another area of the image. Okay, so
Right.
great.
Thanks.
So there's a lot of technicality to, so there's just the doingness, and you guys are doing the doingness really well. Cool. Now, that said, I know there's probably a lot of people out there who don't feel like it worked and still have questions, or it's not working for them. So do you want to ask me your questions? Those of you who, for whom you feel it's not, those of you who feel it's not working for you? Is everyone,
I feel like I'm having a little trouble. I can share my screen.
okay, yeah, please do.
I think there's a couple things that I didn't quite catch along the way, so you'll see it.
Mhm. Okay,
So
So-
my levels on the right, I'm kind of stuck on that.
okay. So on the right side, you made your level. Oh, hold on. I lost you. Give me a second. I clicked on something wrong and I lost you. You're not gone, but I lost you. Hold on.
I couldn't
clicked
get my
on-
levels to go black.
Why did it? There we go. So you have two levels here, two things that might be a problem. You have a levels and an exposure, but the exposure is off, so that's okay. Just want to make sure you don't have any other levels. So can you go grab, see all that huge box of red color up there that we're not needing? Put your mouse right on that line in between property, like put your mouse down. Yeah, and a little bit higher up so you touch that. Yeah, and yeah, there. And now click and drag and get rid of that so I can see your layers better. See how movable things are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm seeing your layers and you have two different levels, and that's why you're getting really confused. See how there's 1 and 2 on top of it and they're affecting each other. It's like you put, imagine a pair of green glasses on top of a pair of pink glasses, and now you're like, hey, I'm not saying pink or green, I'm seeing some weird brown. So you got to get rid of one of them. So choose one to get rid of, whichever, and select one. And then go down to the little trash can that's there. Yeah, and get rid of one. And delete layer mask. Oh, you only clicked on, click on the trash again. Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Okay, so now we have one. All right, so now double click on that little crown-ish part of it for your properties to open up. Move the color again, which it keeps insisting on coming up. So go move up, and can you move and get rid of the color again so we can see your layers?
Yeah.
You can also double click on the word color and it's going to collapse. Double click on the word color. We don't need it and it'll collapse. There we go. And now you can see the layers. So now go down and let us see the layers. I'm sorry. I keep
Oh, wait,
trying
go
to
down
get.
the layers. Okay.
Yeah, now we see both. All right. Oh, this is great. Sorry, it's so hard on a small screen. Grab and pull down a little bit now so we see the little spots from the, like right above the word. That you were fine. Right above the word channels and paths and layers. Touch that. Yeah, a bit more. Yeah, and now drag down so we can see the
Down.
tools a little bit. There. I just need to see those white, the things that you need to move.
Okay.
It's hard. All right. So you were doing fine. You were moving that around. That's the 0 point. Now move it to the right to get things darker. And so move it. You probably won't want it that dark. No, because you want to look at the stones that you're trying to darken and imagine how much more darker you want them. So now watching that the way they are now, move to the right until they get to about as dark as you want. Not the entire image, just the stones, because that's the only thing we're going to darken. So
Okay.
maybe move it over, maybe a bit more just to make it more obvious while we're practicing. So say that much, which is probably too much, but that's fine to learn. Cool. Now what was missing is you needed to invert your mask. So click on your mask, which is that white box there next to the crown. Yeah, click on that. And now do Command or Control I, whichever you're on. So Command or Control I. So hold down the Command or the Control. Are you in a Mac or on a PC? You're on a, looking, you're on a PC. So
Yeah,
hold
Mac.
on you're on a, no, you're on a PC if you're on VDI.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so
So hold down the Control key and then tap the letter I.
Oh, that's
Very-
where I messed up. Okay.
So now you inverted your mask. So now it's as if you eliminated what you did. Now you're going to let only a little hole through. So now you grab your brush. Yep. And now you go down to that area and you start painting with white. Yeah, because it's the opposite of whatever your mask is. And there you go. You're letting in some of that darkness into the areas that you want to let it in. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
That's great. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And then when you go too far, like if you didn't mean to make that dark spot right there, just imagine you didn't, then go switch the colors of your mask from white to black. Go to the left, left, and see that little double-headed arrow. Don't click there. No, click to the little double, go down a teensy bit there. Click on that and see how it switched from white to black. Click again. See how the foreground to background. So you want to switch now to say that you decide that you went overboard, and so switch to black, and now go paint on an area that you decide you didn't want to make so dark. So you paint some of that and it becomes light again. See?
Okay.
So you're basically adding or getting rid of the color. So then you switch to black again when you want to make it darker, et cetera, et cetera. Though don't touch the color. Every time you touch the color, you're going to have to cancel. Yeah. And then switch the little arrow.
Okay.
It's so tempting. You want to go and click. Everyone does that. So I just know to always say, no.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else who needs a hand with that, you guys? Abby, during break, we didn't set you up for sharing. Oh, but in the end, you were able to share. So it didn't matter. You were able to share. The first time you share on the Mac, it has some like privacy issues. And then after that, it lets you share. Okay. Anyone else who wants to share? No? It seems so private, right? Someone wants to share, like talk to me about your problem. And I'm like, no, I'm just talking about sharing your screen. You can open your heart up to me, but right now I just want your screen. Okay. All right. So yeah, Francis, you're gonna have to, you came in at the very last minute. I cannot teach you the entire class up until now. So when you come in at 3/4 of the class ended, you definitely have to watch the video. Okay. We started. So that's why when people just show up a little bit late, I try to catch them up. But in your case, just watch, imbibe what I am saying, and then watch the video to catch up. All right. I'm just answering to the fact that Francis wrote something on the thing, and she knows that. Yeah. So, but I just wanted to say to everyone, just know if I ignore you and you got in a little bit late, just let yourself know that you need help. If it's too late, I can't. Andrea, you said that, oh, wow, your computer is flickering in and out and she's gone. I wonder where she is, where she says it's raining too hard. She says to us that we're out in the mountains. She had to leave. She said it was pouring. Crazy weather. I don't know what mountains she's in. But she dropped out. Okay, so here we have an image that now we feel is a little bit more even. I've got a few more things that bug me, maybe that I'll fix, but it's not that it really bugs me, but I want to make a point. So watch the point I'm trying to make is the following. Say that this little thing here is bugging me. See how there's just a little whiteness that I say that I want it to look as if it's all neutral, right? So watch. I'm going to go to the tool that I told you to use before, which is the spot healing tool. And I'm going to go try to fix it, but I can't. See how it says, no, forbidden? It's because right now I'm in your mask. What do you mean you're in your mask? Well, notice that here my selected layer is the levels 1 mask. If I want to work again on the photo, on the image, I need to go and select my image. Does that make sense, you guys? If I try to use the same tool I used before in my pixels here, where this could not rasterize, this is not editable. And I'll say, okay, because this is that layer. In order to go work on this, I need to select my background. See how it changes color? And now I can go and keep working on my background. Okay. So these are two different things now. This is my background. And this is like that pair of glasses I put, like a little mask that I put over one area of my image to darken it. But I can't only work this tool on pixels. So I had to go back to my pixels before I could go fix that. Does that make sense? Because if you guys want to go up and now, whenever you work on something, you need to select here that thing that you're working on. If you're working on your mask, you go here. If you're working on your pixels, on your image, you go here. Okay? All good there? Okay. So if you have anything else that you want to fix or not, that's good. Right now, let's just assume that we're very happy with what we've got. And let's save one more time. Now, for those of you who already saved this as, then it's okay. You're already on the file. That's your, I didn't want to say that. Sorry, I already had this one saved. I'm going to cancel. We've already saved as. This is already our saved one. So all we need to do is file save. That's it. Why is it asking me that? Oh, duh. I'm sorry. Last time we saved the file, it was a flat JPEG file. This time I'm trying to save it and it's not letting me without making me go save as, because now I have a layer on it. This is a layer. This mask is a layer. So now I need to save it again. And instead of being a JPEG, I have to save it as a PSD file. Sorry, I forgot where I was at. Okay. So when I go try to give it a relatively normal save, it says, no, you have to save as. So save on your computer and save as. Okay. Those of us who already had gone here to save something, you'll be in the right place, digital class. But in case you don't know, you can go back and find it one more time. Google Drive, My Drive, Digital Zincs class. And here, Creek for poster. Notice that this time it's going to save as a Photoshop file, .psd. Okay. So that is what's going to be saved right now. So we're going to say, okay, save. We always say yes to maximize compatibility for different versions of Photoshop. So do that. So now my file up here says Creek for poster.psd. And that's because it's not a JPEG anymore. It's a layered file. Okay. Did that work for everyone? Are you all with me? Okay. So we did some basic fixing to this, which we did some retouching, which we can't turn it on off because we did it in such a way that it became a permanent correction, because we did it on the pixels. That's what I would call a destructive modification. We actually can't turn that option on and off. Here we can turn on and off the non-destructive modification, which is this corner of lightness. So that's why ideally you should always do non-destructive modifications, because now you're stuck with whatever you did with on the background. The only way to see the before and after now, if you want, is to go to the history, which this icon here is the histories. And if I pull this down, this is giving me a history of all the ups and downs that I did, right? And if it saves up to 50 things, and then after that, you basically, I'm gonna want to see the whole before and after. I'm gonna click right there. That's where I started, and I have all my blemishes and all the things in there again. And then I'm gonna go all the way back to the bottom and choose the final thing. And this is where it's right now. So I'm turning on and off all the different things that I have done or not done. So this can be bigger or smaller, but basically the only way to get back to the very beginning is to scroll to the clock and click on this beginning Creek JPEG. Then I've undone every single thing I've done, but careful, because when you're here, you could lose it all if you click anywhere else. So don't click anywhere else. Scroll all the way back to the bottom and click again on the bottommost layer, and that's where you are right now. So this is all the work that we've been doing on this image, okay? And I know I redo things a bunch of times because I'm showing you, so maybe you have many less options than you. So that's how you would see the whole before how we began until now. All right, when you click on this again, that panel disappears so it doesn't take up space on your screen. Click on, click off, click on, click off. Okay, so now I am torn because I want to show you how to make the headline in InDesign, but I don't trust that I can use InDesign. So I'm going to show you how to do it here in Photoshop. Now what I'm talking about, I'm going to change my screen again. This here is what I was hoping to do in InDesign. this text nature with that background and this text here, but we don't have enough time for me. I know that in InDesign isn't going to work again. And so I'm going to have to talk with tech support to see what's happening to InDesign. And I would have thought it was my problem, but who else said they had the same problem as me? Can you write in the chat if you guys said you had the same problem as me, that the move thing wasn't moving? So I know how many other people were having that same problem. Just write in the chat and say the InDesign didn't work for me. Okay, go to the chat, you guys, for whom it didn't work. And by the way, Prang reminded me of something. You should have all received an email from, I don't know who, from the admin, that they are conducting, I'm doing evaluations of other instructors and others are doing it of me. So you should have received some requests for surveys for evaluations. So please respond to those surveys, okay?
Deanna, could you just
Lisa,
show us for the time that's left, can you just show us how you will do it in InDesign using your home InDesign?
Sure. This part would be the same. Okay. Thing is, my home InDesign is on a Mac. But anyway, how about I do it? Then it'll just be a showing. But let's just do the text here, and then we'll recreate it on the map, because what we're going to do is basically the same. Many things are very similar on one or the other. And right now, what I would have to do is I would have to have us lay out the document first, and then bring in this image, and then do the text. And that's going to take the time that we've got left. Okay.
Okay.
So for now, I'm going to just say, let's not do that. I'm having,
Okay, at first I thought she was just concentrating hard, but I guess Deanna's frozen. Yeah.
I'm glad you spoke, because I was checking to see what was wrong with my system.
Yeah, because she just was looking so intently, and then I
I
realized
know.
no movement, no blinking, no anything.
That's so annoying when that happens.
So funny.
Gone? Did she get kicked off?
She'll probably be back. She
Yeah.
had to restart.
Yeah. Oh dear.
We just had a rumble of thunder, so I thought it was that our internet had been taken
Yeah,
out.
the thunders. It's feeling here.
Oh, there she is.
She's back.
Deanna, are you back?
hello.
Hey, Deanna.
Welcome back.
Hi.
I just decided to abandon you.
We were having a party.
Did you just notice? Did I stop mid-sentence, or did I just disappear?
Yes. Mid-sentence.
Well, at least you notice sometimes someone else is talking, and it's only happened twice since last spring, a year ago now, as we all know that this happened. It's only happened twice that mid class suddenly I just disappear. I told you guys, my sister, I was having troubles with my computer, that things were doing some weird stuff in the background, and that's what was happening. I was getting messed up. That said, my InDesign crashed as well. So the InDesign that I was showing you, my personal one, it crashed. So that's fine. I know. I'm just gonna work here on how to do the boxes for text. Okay, so the first thing we need is a band here, right? Like of color that's gonna be
share screen.
happening. Oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of the basics. Here we go. Okay. Good thing I just mentioned go and like give me some evaluations, right? I'm like, oh. Of course, Zoom dropping is not something to complain about. That is just life. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a box of color here. Okay. So let's go ahead and head over here to our, first of all, we're gonna make a new layer, okay? So let's head over down here and make a new empty layer. So down at the very bottom of my layers where I have these layers, see this little plus sign next to the trash can? We're gonna click on that little tiny, so it's a plus sign with a box around it. Click on it one time and that becomes a new layer. Now this new layer has nothing on it. So that little grid that you see there is just basically transparency. Let me show you what I mean. If you turn this eyeball off and you turn this eyeball off, this is transparency. This is nothing in the world of Adobe, all of the programs of Adobe, this is transparency. So I'm going to turn on this background and turn on this one again. In this layer, we're going to have a box of color. And so over, now I've moved my mouse way over to the top, and the first tool is the move tool. The second tool I have has an either a rectangle or a circle. So when you click and hold it, most of you should probably have a rectangle shape. You click and hold and you have other shapes, but the one I want is the rectangular one. Okay, so click on that. And this tool makes selections. Oh, looks like Frances had dropped. So I guess she got dropped at the same time that I got dropped. How interesting. Okay. I think I lost. Some other people might have dropped. I don't know. Okay, so this is a selection tool. And if I click and drag, I get this a little box like this, that what we call marching ants, because it's this little moving box. And I click and drag and I click and drag. And every time I click and drag, I get a different box. One selection disappears and the other one begins. So now, what I want to do is I want to start a box. Let me show you what I mean. I go a bit smaller. I want to make a box that spans from end to end. And if I try to put my mouse right at the edge, I won't get it right. So start over here, click and drag and start there. And then your box will start in the right place. And then click and drag all the way here and make a box that is about yay big. And we can move it later to put it in the right spot. We don't know exactly where it's going to go, but about yay area, you're going to make the shape of a box like that. Did everyone get something like that?
Yes.
Okay, we're already working on a new layer. So now what we need to do is we want to fill it with a color. So let's go find a color we want to fill it with. So let's go to our colors and click. Now, yes, you get to click on that box that before I didn't let you click. And you can choose a color, right? So how do we choose a color? Before I choose a color, is everyone here with me or did I lose someone?
Where do you get color?
Okay, so we take our mouse down to the bottom of the tools. And if you don't see those tools, again, do what Justine did, that I had her double click those little arrows so that you see the tools at the bottom. But here you see two boxes right where before we were choosing black and white. Click on the top one. And that's what gives us this little color picker here. You see that? I'm gonna move that out. So move it up here more so we can see it better. That color picker, okay? Does everyone see that? So Francis, if you haven't been able to find this creek image, do it on any image that you have. We're adding a layer and making a box of color here to be the background for our text. So yes.
I don't get that the second box. I just have the one on the right.
You have these on the right?
Yeah, yes. So
here on the tools, you don't see the box on the tools. Let me put a little spotlight to see if you can see my tool a bit better. Here at the very bottom of all the tools, you don't see this area. Do you want to share your screen so I can see what's happening? It's probably the same thing that happened to Justine, that she stopped seeing her tools at around yay. If so, click on this little double-headed arrow right under that little house so that your tools become doubled up, and then you should see that there.
Can you let me in, please?
Oh, okay. Let me stop my share. Okay. Share your screen. Okay, so first you need to make a selection. I don't see your selection. Can you try again? So click and drag and yeah, so there's your selection tool. And now there you go. I see it. Okay, so now on the very bottom left of your tools, the very bottommost tool, do you see those two boxes? Well, no, move up. Yeah, see the black and the white box? Yeah, so click on the black box
Oh, okay.
and that's how you pick up the colors. Okay,
Thank you. Mhm.
you're welcome. All right, so anyone else who needs help before I share my screen?
Mm.
Veronica?
Yeah, I'm gonna double try again and let's see if it works.
I like it when I begin to know my students enough that I can hear a little and I know who it is. It's kind of cool. I'm beginning to know you guys. And it used to be that I read faces, but now so many faces are off and now I get to read sounds.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
Our dulcet tones, Deanna.
Yes, your dulcet tones, indeed.
Okay, so I have the selection and I select another color
Uh-huh.
over here.
Yeah, and so this is where I am. I haven't explained more, but since you're showing it, let me explain it right here with you showing it. So you're in the perfect spot. The only thing I'd like you to cancel, because I wanted you to make a better selection. So cancel that for a second and make a better selection in the sense that I want you to go from end to end. So put your mouse on the black, like actually in the black outside of the photo, a bit further out. Yeah, and now move it all the way and end on the right, on the black, move over to the black. Yeah, so then you know for sure it's gone end to end. Okay, now let go of your mouse. Perfect. Now go and click again on the box to get the colors. Yep. And now on the, don't do that yet, on the one that has the rainbow colors, all the colors, go choose what color you want. So there you can click there or, you know, click on pink, just test first. Don't try to get the perfect color, just show. So see how, if you just jump up and down on the one, don't say, okay, please don't yet. You can choose a yellow, go to the thin long bar that has all the colors. Click on yellow, see where you see yellow. You get yellow tones, now go to the light blues. So that's how you choose a general color. And then once you decide the general color, then you go into the big box and then you choose if you want a dark version of it or a medium version of it or a light version of it. Does that make sense? And then you click around like she's doing, or you drag your mouse around that area and it changes until you find how saturated or how desaturated that much of that color that you want. Okay. Now I have a special trick though. Put your mouse outside of this box, put it over the rock or over the water or over the bushes. See the mouse right now, it's on color. Now, guys, can you, maybe not on the white, they can't see it. Go over the bushes, see if it's a bit better. Do you see her mouse over the bushes there? Move it, jiggle your mouse around so they can see it. Do you see a little thing moving around that looks like a little eyedropper? That's her mouse. When you are in this mode and you move your mouse outside, it turns into an eyedropper. And that eyedropper is cool because it picks up something from your environment. So she can pick a light green from the lightest green of the bushes, or she can pick a dark part of the rock for a dark gray or a light part of brown. See what she's doing with her eyedropper? She's moving around the image. You can move that box out if you want some, there you go. So then instead of choosing any green, you can choose a green that matches the greens in your document because you're choosing from a green that's in your document. Does that make sense, you guys? Is that working for you? So instead of choosing a green, choose a green from your document. And when you like the green you chose, then you go and you say, okay. And then go ahead and say, okay, you can change that later. And if you look now on the left side, you'll see that she has the foreground is like an olive green color and the background color is that red, right? So the foreground green color is the one that she chose. If she doesn't like that one, she can click on that green again. And now you clicked on the red though. So you're clicking the background color, which is fine. You can change your background color, but you get to have two colors hanging around all the time. Two colored choices hanging around, a black, a background and a foreground color. Okay, so I'm gonna stop your share so I can keep sharing. All right, so now I'm gonna go and do the same thing that she did. I'm gonna click on my colors right there, and I'm gonna choose with my eyedropper. I'm gonna go choose on one of these greens that's gonna be kind of in the background of my nature word. And so I'm gonna choose something from here. I don't know yet, and I can change this as many times as I want, but I'm thinking maybe something in the realm of over there. I don't know, and I'll say okay. Right. So now that's the color that I want to fill this with, right? So I'm going to go up to edit, fill, edit, fill. And then it says, what do you want to fill it with? And I can click on this word that says color, and I can just say foreground color, because that's the color I chose. Fill with foreground color. That's my background color. That's my foreground color. If I don't like either one, I can go here and choose a new color. But I want this foreground color, and then I say, okay. And there we go, that filled with that color. If I don't like it, I can go change it. But for now, let's assume we all like it. You can change it later, but for now, let's assume we like that color that we chose. But, and I can't show it to you right now because I have lost the, I lost my InDesign. But I don't know if you remember, but my color was very transparent. It allowed us to see through. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this be less opaque. We're going to give it a transparency so we can still see the mountains behind it. Okay, so we're going to do that here on this layer. We're going to go to the word. So I move my mouse over here now to the layers. Okay, so it's way over here. And we're going to choose this opacity. And we're going to bring this opacity down so that I can see through it. Okay. So I don't know yet until I have the word written here, how opaque is it gonna have to be. So I just start by testing it out. I'm gonna try somewhere around 50, 55. I'm gonna get rid of these lines because I don't want these lines anymore. So I'm gonna say select and deselect or Control D. So now I have a background for the word. Remember the word was nature. So now I've created a background for my word. And so here I can call this one headline box or something like that. So all I did is I double clicked on the word and then wrote headline box or headline background. And then headline banner. So once again, just double click on the name, right? So maybe levels 1 instead of level 1s, you might want to call it darker rock. So I can double click on the word level 1s and call it darken the rocks or something like that. So I know what that layer is doing. You can label your layers to help you remind you what they are. Okay. So now we have a background for my layer, for my headline. And technically class is over. So some people are signing out. I just wanted to remind you that this tool here, the top one, now mine is, I doubled it up to show it as Justine is showing them, but this is the top tool is still, when they double up, this still goes in that order. So now that goes from the right, this is like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. When you double it up, it doesn't go like half of it and then the other half goes on top. When you double it up, it goes like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is the one that was the fourth one. Does that make sense? So if I show the fourth one here, over here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it's that one there. Anyway, so the top left one is the move tool. And so if I click on this banner that I just made, I can move it around if I want to adjust it a little bit. But remember to have it hit the edges so that you don't leave it like hanging like that. You can move it up or down and have it hit the edges until you like it. Now, we don't really know how big or fat we're going to want it until we put the word on it. So let's see if we can just put the word on it for now and finish it that way. There's actually quite a bit to text. So maybe, you know what? Let's make the box that we want down at the bottom instead. Because if I put the word on it now, then we're going to have the issue of having to teach you all about text when we're already over with the class. So let's repeat this that we did here. That was for the headline, but we made a box down here for the text. But the box that was down here was actually not touching the edges. It was a box within the edges. So I'm going to make a new layer. I just want to leave this ready and prepped for next time. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to do plus down here again, created a new layer. And this one is going to be the text background instead of the headline background. And I'm going to want to make a box with the same tool, same exact thing we just did. I'm going to get ahead over here and I'm going to kind of guess for now that the text box is going to be about yay big, and it might be right or wrong, but as you can see, this is all very easy to modify. So I'm going to make a box about yay big. And this time, let's choose a color that's one of these watercolors, which aren't really white, right? So if I want to choose it before I open the color box, I can choose that by going to the eyedropper right here. I can directly know that I want to choose a color from there. And so now I pick up the eyedropper, or the I is the shortcut, the letter I, and I can click on some of this and make it be like a grayish tone. And as you can see, my foreground color is what's changing. So I'm going to choose a lighter gray, maybe one of these lighter, not the brightest ones that are pure white, one of these lighter grays. So I got a light gray there. And I'm going to again go and say edit fill. And again, since it replaced my green, I'm going to say foreground color and I'm going to say okay. And there it is. And then I'm going to bring down the opacity of that one until I see this one's going to have to be more opaque because I'm going to have text that's readable, legible there. So this one might only have a little bit of transparency left. And so we'll put some on and then we'll decide how much we want it to be. And so now we have our two boxes ready to go. This one, if I didn't make a good position of it, I can move it around until I get into a good position. And that's about where I'm going to have my text. And that's about where I'm going to have my headline. And so that'll be ready to go for next time. Okay. Now, I like to work with things that make sense. And this text background is underneath and the headline is on top. But in my real world, it's the other way around. So I just wanted to show you that we can alter the position of these layers. I can grab this one and drag it and drop it when I see that blue line right there. So that makes more sense for me that the green line be on top and the gray one being at the bottom, just because it reads better. So see what I did? I just moved these layers to fit my order of the world a bit better. That said, I don't want to put it under the levels. I don't want to go anything in between my levels in my background, because see how now this also darkened up because it's being affected by that. So we want to make sure to keep it above because I don't want to darken this box. Okay. 1 second, make sure to save. For those of you who want to leave, I want to make sure that you save your file and that you don't forget to sign out of your Google Drive, Google Steam, the Drive pipeline down here in this little bottom arrow. Make sure to sign out of that once you're done closing out of your Photoshop. And yes, I'm here for more questions. So, and remember, I wanted to show you how to do screenshots. So yes, Justine.
Yeah, so how did you change the names of those different layers?
Okay, just double click on the words with your mouse. So when you see the words, double click and they lighten up. So then you can put, you know, dark corner rocks. And then you hit return and double click again when they make a change, and then hit return or to enter.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. So anyone needs to know how to do screenshots or things like that to send them to me? Many of you are in my other classes, so you might already know, but some of you might not. Okay, no one seems to be calling on to know how to do a screenshot. Any other question? Okay, so
If I can, but I'll wait till everyone leaves because
I can't
just
stay.
find
I
the
can't
Wi-Fi.
stay. Yeah, Francis, I can't stay an extra half hour today like we did the other day. You know, I can help you a little bit more,
Yeah,
but I
yes,
can't
for 1
redo the
second.
class.
Thank you.
I
Okay.
get it. That's why I
Okay,
wanted
but
to talk to you for a
great.
minute.
Now and stay for a minute. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so guys, let me show you how to save all of this and close safely. So ideally you'll close each file, save, and then I had this one open that you guys didn't have open. So that's fine. Close each program. So go in before you get rid of your VDI, close your Photoshop with this little X and close your bridge, you know, close your InDesign, close your stuff that you've been working with. And then ideally you go down to this little bottom arrow, Google Drive, go to the gears and don't quit. Everyone jumps to quit. Don't quit. Go to preferences and then just disconnect account. By doing this now, then you won't run into the trouble. Well, she's gone in the beginning next week, because when you just sign in, you'll be prompted to sign in like that. If you don't sign out now, then next time you open up, you'll go basically start working and forget that you need to disconnect and sign in. So if you disconnect now, next time you sign into VDI, it'll pop this question up to make you sign in. So this is a cleaner way to do it. Otherwise, you'll get into the same problem that someone else had, that their files got corrupted. And then once you're here, if you want to do this, close the tab and be done. But I've been told that people who are having issues with their VDI, it's better if you open this little tab here that we have right there. Click on the tab and then just log out that way. I'm going to stay on because I'm going to answer questions that Francis might have, so I'm not logging out. But that way you can gently log out and back out of everything and make it a clean.
Can you remind me where the preferences, where do you find the preferences again? The log
for
out
the
safely?
for the Google Drive pipeline.
Yeah, I couldn't find it at
Okay,
the bottom.
all right. So I'm going to make my window a bit smaller, but at the very, very bottom right, and this is only if you're on VDI, you have this little tiny arrow.
Can you share?
Oh, did I stop sharing? Sorry. Thank you, Patricia.
Oh, and then you hit Google Drive.
So you click on this little bottom arrow down here, and then you hit Google Drive.
Oh, okay, thank
Now,
you.
since I'm already signed out, I don't have the choice, but because I signed out. But once you're signed in, then you have the choice to hit preferences and disconnect.
Thank you,
account.
Diana.
You're welcome, Patricia. You're welcome,
See you
everyone.
next week.
You're welcome. Justine, Justine was raising your hands.
I think I got it straightened out based on other people's questions and just muddling through. So thank you.
Great. Someone else was trying to speak up. Veronica, your hand is up.
Where can we watch again the video? Like,
Okay, so thanks for asking. I have, I'll show it to you here, but everyone during the week, you don't need to be in VDI to watch the videos, but if you're going to be practicing, then you might as well. You double click on, just go to any browser and go to sbcc.edu, and then go to pipeline. And then go to student non-credit. and Google Drive. So I have an email. Someone's talking in the background in someone's house. So if you could mute yourself, whoever is talking. So then you go to Google Drive. And in the first email, the first class, I connected emails. I sent you, oh, did you not get the first email, Veronica?
Yes, I did. So it's
Okay.
in this part because I remember that you said about we will be able to watch it through YouTube, but you were going
Yes.
to the link.
Yeah. So basically, when you get here, you go to share drives and you click on digital design techniques. And the first thing you'll see is always a Zoom class recording links for digital design techniques. So if you open that, you already have the links for the first 2 days. And then today, after class is over, after about 4 or 5 hours, it all gets processed and I can put another link here. So usually by tomorrow morning, in this case, because it's an evening class, you'll see the link here for today. And so what you do is you just click here, click on that, and it opens YouTube. And this is last week's class. This is me talking.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, you just have to access this document. But you have to do it through pipeline because if not,
Thank you.
it won't let you in. Okay. Any other questions, guys, before Frances asks her questions? Anything else? Veronica, did that answer it? Yeah. All right. So Frances, what's up?
Okay, that was pretty much my question because she showed me the replays and that's what I'm gonna have to do. I had horrible
Perfect.
transmission and sound that was, and I couldn't get like anything. I had to go to different devices. I'm so sorry, but
No,
it's
that's all right.
I hope I can catch up through video. But that means that if I follow it, I'll have to use the version of the program that I have and not what I would borrow from the school version because I have old
No, you can use VDI.
Photoshop.
You can use VDI just like I am. You can just
Oh, I
go
can do
to
it on my own.
VDI. You can just do VDI. Yeah, this is something that's available to you, not just during class times. You can do it any time of day. All you need to do is sign into VDI. So it's completely unrelated to being in class. Just open a browser and go to VMware, vmview.edu. Have you ever accessed VDI?
I did it with you in class, but I never did it on my own.
Okay.
Is there a direction?
Yeah,
for
if you
that?
read the emails that I've been sending, I have the links, but otherwise here in the handouts, there's a video, how to access VDI. And so you click on this video
Okay.
and it's me
It's all
telling
in
you, this is me in the summer, teaching you how to access VDI. So you basically have to do VMview Verizon, open up the programs and start using it. It's unrelated to being in class. Mhm. So you can do
okay,
that.
great. So I go to shared drives to learn whatever piece I'm not getting. It's all in your shared drives then.
Yeah, in the shared drives, you have all of the handouts and the videos telling you how to access the stuff. And then the links for my recordings will be the topmost example every day. So that's day 1 and 2 already. And then by tomorrow morning or tonight, midnight or so, I'll post today's link. So you have it available
So
for.
Thank you so much. You're clarifying, just to clarify, we're learning in this class to bring together InDesign with Photoshop? And maybe
Photoshop,
Illustrator?
Illustrator, and InDesign using Bridge as a bridge between the programs. So it's 4 programs. But today you missed it, but InDesign wasn't working for me. It wasn't doing what it needed to do. So I had to close it. So I was the assignment that I've created, I had demoed in InDesign and everyone saw it. And it's basically, that's a poster with text and stuff. But InDesign kept crashing on me, so I had to keep working on inside of Photoshop, but I'll be dealing with tech support to see if they can figure out what's happening in design.
Oh, so, because I do know some of the techniques already, I showed you, I do understand it, I've
Yes.
used it.
I've been so
The
busy this week.
eyedropper and
I'm sorry that I didn't
I-
answer. I'm saying that I've been
So I
in a
might be
crazy
able
week.
to catch up.
Yeah, totally. You know enough to to watch the videos and go, oh yeah, I see what she's doing. Plus the first video, the first day is pretty much all getting people to figure out how to get into VDI and how to access the handouts and stuff like that. So there's no learning about the programs the entire first day. But if you need to know how to get into VDI to open the programs, then watch the first day to learn that and practice and do that really
Yeah.
well. And the
I just have
homework
to
I sent,
refresh on that.
the homework I
And
gave
I just
everyone
feel
that
like I always
wait,
want to
wait,
know.
wait. We can't talk over each other. The homework I gave everyone the first week was to do it during that first week 10 times. Access VDI, access your handouts, open the programs, close it up, do it again the next day, so that by next week, you're good at it, right? So take that on as your homework for this week, is to get really comfy with opening and accessing the programs on VDI. And then you can follow the class with the class instead of with the videos. And then the second day, we spent about
Yeah.
half the day on the same thing. So the only second part of the second day is really opening some programs. And then today, which was for the most part moving forward with the programs, but then I got stuck in InDesign because I couldn't open it. And so that kind of wasted some time. And then you showed up when I was already in Photoshop. So you can see pieces
So
of
were
it.
you doing type in Photoshop, or were you using something else because you couldn't get in design? Where did the
I was
type come
I was about to do type in Photoshop, but I decided to wait to see if I can fix InDesign, because normally I would want to do type in InDesign. But I
Okay.
couldn't.
I didn't know if you were bringing in another graphic that had type, or if you were using the type in the program.
When you
like if
see
you
the
wanted to
video,
bring in a header.
when you see the video, you'll see the sample that I made. You'll watch the video and you'll see the sample that we're going to imitate. I showed 2 samples of work that we're going to be working towards. One, the text is going to be in Illustrator. One, the text is going to be in InDesign. But I couldn't demonstrate it because InDesign wasn't working, but I showed it. I was able to show it, but I couldn't make things move. So I had to close it up. But when you watch the video, you'll see that, and you'll see where we're heading. We're heading to a poster and some like promotional pieces. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Okay, great. And are we gonna do, so this is the one piece, and I'm gonna get this set up, because in InDesign I've used like publication, many pages is a different, you'll do that another time, I guess,
Yeah, we'll
right?
get to that. We're just starting. Mhm.
A poster thing. Okay, so I'm so sorry for all the trouble. It makes me feel better that maybe I can catch up.
No, that's fine. But now that the videos are there, as long as you sit and watch them, it's as if you had been in class. I still need you to come to class like you did, because otherwise I can't give you attendance and you don't get the reimbursement and stuff. But now, as long as you watch the videos, I'm happy saying that you were here and giving you full attendance, because you're gonna have to spend the time doing the classes by doing the videos. So that's fine.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather hear you. I mean, I didn't want to just be a video
Yeah.
class. I like the interaction, and
Yeah.
I'll try to do better. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And next,
Okay.
just make sure that you get comfy with getting into VDI so you can use the programs, and then next week you'll be able to follow the class with everyone.
I feel like pressure about is building my piece, about like getting the kind of thinking that I know how to logically build any piece, and is there a certain order, and that I miss the masking thing. So I'm a little overwhelmed with that because I don't get the layers so much. I get when there's the background, but
understand,
select.
you showed up when I was already done explaining it. So if you watch the video, you'll start it from the beginning and it'll make sense. Okay. And if it doesn't, you can ask me questions and I can catch you up with that next week. But first, watch it from the beginning. It's very hard to drop into anything in the middle or end of it and expect to so there's no pressure. People who know nothing slowly build up to it. So if you start the video from the beginning, you'll be able to build up with everyone and you'll be fine.
Okay, have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye, Francis.
Bye-bye.